Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto x Tashigi after being teleported into One Piece Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. It had been exactly 208 years since the Fourth Great Shinobi War had ended. Naruto, with help from Sasuke, had managed to seal Kaguya. When all had seemed good and dandy, Sasuke had dropped a verbal bomb on them. He had announced his intention to kill all the 5 Kages and bring about his own revolution in the world and bring about his own twisted idea of peace. To do this, he sealed all the free-tailed beasts within Chibaku Tensei, intending to use their power to end infinite Tsukuyomi after he killed Naruto. He demanded Naruto fight him to death, a demand which Naruto complied to happily. They fought for one whole day and night, after which Naruto managed to defeat Sasuke and managed to beat some sense into him. But the battle with Kaguya Otsutsuki had taken much out of Sasuke, and on his deathbed he asked Naruto to use his eye to end the infinite Tsukuyomi that had been cast. Nearing his death, Sasuke had managed to redeem himself, if only just by an inch. He apologized to Naruto for killing them, but Naruto didn't accept it. How could he? He had his loved ones and expected him to forgive him just because he said a few words. Naruto had implanted the Rinnegan with the help of Kakashi after his fight with Sasuke. Sakura was in pieces after hearing about his death. The Rinnegan of Sasuke was different from the one Naruto had achieved during his teen years. This Rinnegan had 6 tomos split between its first 2 ripples. From what Naruto had gathered from his fight with Sasuke, the tomo would disappear if Sasuke overused his Rinnegan, preventing him from using its full power until it had fully recharged, something that took a very long time. Sasuke was still able to use the powers of his Mangekyo Sharingan with his Rinnegan, but apparently couldn't use them, or even form the Mangekyo in his other eye when it was recharging. After a century of living like a hermit, Naruto had forgiven him, if only just to end the cycle of reincarnation of Asura and Indra. A few years down the road, he had managed to deactivate Sasuke's Rinnegan with the help of Fuinjutsu. Naruto now had to live with the 2 different colored eyes. One vibrant blue and the other coal black. After the war had ended, Naruto had become Hokage after Kakashi. His reign was the longest, spanning over 64 years. During his lifetime, all of his friends had passed away. After their death, he took no wife, held no lands, nor fathered any children. Many of his friends had died of old age and lived happy lives. Towards the end of his term, or rather the reason for the end of his term, was an incident that had shook Naruto's faith in the shinobi world. After Killer Bee had died, Kumo sealed Gyuki again within Kahaku no Johei, which went against what they had promised after the end of war. All the nations had vowed to not seal any Biju within humans unless the Biju were willing. Gyuki had chosen to remain with Bee until his death, but after that he was to be freed. To spare Gyuki the wrongful imprisonment, Naruto had resigned as Hokage and went to Kumo to talk Kumo out of it. It turned out that there was a rebel faction within Kumo that didn't agree with Naruto's ideals and had taken over the village, though that didn't surprise Naruto, seeing as Kumo was one of the most militaristic of all the 5 great nations. After having a battle with the rebels and emerging victorious, Naruto sealed Gyuki within himself, which was Hachibi's idea. Fearing that the other big and small nations alike would fall to the temptation of power within reach, Naruto, with the permission of the tailed beasts, sealed them within himself temporarily until a permanent solution could be reached. The Jinchuriki of all the tailed beasts living in Konoha raised many protests from other nations, so Naruto chose the life of a wandering hermit, never staying in one place for more than required time. He had, in the vaguest sense of the word, had become immortal, though he was physically only 18 years old. He had gained mastery in Fuinjutsu that was only subpar to his father and his Uzumaki ancestors. He had figured out how to create Hiraishin kunais, but was unable to figure out how to leave seals directly onto people or objects permanently. It was with this Fuinjutsu skills that he had managed to create a dimension seal that allowed him to travel through dimensions, not unlike Kaguya Otsutsuki. He had found one dimension in which there were no humans, only animals and nature. It was a perfect place to let the Bijus roam free. He let all the Bijus out of his body, even Kurama, who reluctantly left him. They all left him a parting gift, and that was their chakra. After making him promise that he would come to them if he needed any help, they all bid him their farewells. He had found that he could travel through dimensions using his Hiraishin Jutsu. That made him theorize that the dimensions he traveled weren't in different planes of existence, but were separated by space. He had grown weary of this world. He wasn't welcome in most parts of the elemental nations, as they didn't want to risk the ire of other nations by hosting him. So he had decided that he would travel to another dimension and spread his message of peace. He had so many dimensions to choose from. One dimension he had went to had normal humans with no chakra networks, but they were really advanced. They had tall buildings and some cool 4-wheeled automatic vehicles. During one of his travel, He had seen a weird creature with disproportionate body and having a white mask where his face found that interesting, but the creature disappeared when Naruto wasn't paying attention, and he wasn't just going to track it down to satisfy his had also seen people in black hakama-like dressing walking around all the while being ignored by people. They had some strange energy within them, not unlike chakra but not exactly chakra. He didn't choose this world because the world already seemed at peace. The next one was a weird world. Their people loved with anthropomorphic animals and some lizard-like giant creatures. But this works already had a savoir from what he had heard. His name was Hercules Satan, and he had saved the world at least twice, so Naruto thought that this world didn't need him. He decided that he would go to the world he had accidentally visited at first when he had first developed this technique 20 years ago. Flashback. Naruto had just finished drawing his latest seal. The seal had been inspired by Kagaya's Yamatsu Hirosaka technique that allowed her to open rifts in space. He had been working on the seal since he resigned as the Hokage. He was hoping that he would be able to open one rift that would lead to another dimension where he could let Bijus roam free without fear of capture. The seal was pretty big and was not handy. He was hoping to make it compact in future so that he could carry it with himself. Naruto activated the seal and found himself looking at a beach from above. There was a ship anchored on the beach with a pirate's flag being flown on the crow's nest. A little girl was running away from some men chasing her. She tripped on a stone and fell, and soon the men surrounded her. He could only hear some snippets of what they were saying. "Look wao you dts you devil," she said one of the men. "Yes yo better will ma pay," declared the other man. "I'm sorry I didn't do anything, believe me please don't hurt me." Naruto had the last part crystal clear. This kid was in danger, and he would be damned if he let an innocent soul be hurt on his watch. Fueled by emotion, Naruto entered the fray with only one thing on his mind: protect her. In his Karama Chakra mode, Naruto instantly knocked out the men without being seen. The girl was scared by this flash. What was that? A golden flash, and all the men were down on the ground, and then she saw him. It was as if his whole body was clad in yellow flames and they were flickering of his body. She was in a daze. This man had single-handedly defeated the entire crew of Cheskipa pirates and hadn't broken a sweat, not that she could see, with all him glowing golden. He asked her if she was okay and she nodded. He asked for her name, and she again nodded. She was in a daze. This man had an aura, if she could call him, that was so warm and full of life. She felt that she could live in this glow for her whole life comfortably. "Hey, I asked what your name was?" he asked her again, waving his hands in front of her. "Robin, Nico Robin." She squeaked, still not sure whether to trust this man. The last time she had trusted a man, Cheskipa, and now he was out for her blood. "I can't stay here any longer. I see the rift closing." "Keep this," he said, handing her a three-pronged stabbing knife of some sort. "My name's Uzumaki Naruto. I don't know if it will work, but keep this anyways. Who knows, I might be able to come here again. Now stay safe, kid, and don't get in any trouble," he told her as he ruffled her hair. And just like that, Naruto went back to his world before the rift closed. Flashback end. He had after a month managed to figure out how to use Hiraishin to travel to different dimensions, or rather different dimensions in same space. He remembered the second and the last time he had seen her, and then his visits had ended abruptly. He just couldn't sense the kunai anymore. Flashback. He had been still researching on ways to travel through dimensions freely. He could have settled in any one of those dimensions, but he always came back to elemental nations. Because that was his home. God save him if he didn't visit Shimaba-chan every once in a while there, plus he had to ensure that peace remained. He decided that he would pay the girl he saved a visit, but first he needed to prepare. He needed at least an hour to locate the Hiraishin kunai he had given her. It was a problem and he hadn't gotten around to fixing it yet. After locating her, he teleported to her location. He saw her laughing in the rain and sitting on a rock. There was a dog with her, and she was laughing in a weird way. Dereshishishi. Dereshishishi. She was laughing wholeheartedly. This was the first time he had seen her happy. "That's music to my ears, Robin-chan." Looking up, she got embarrassed. She at first didn't recognize, and then realization dawned on her. Same wavy blonde hair and same voice. You came!" she exclaimed loudly. "Of course I came, I told you I would figure out how to come here." The dog looked at him in puzzlement, cocking his head to the right. "Is that a new friend you got there?" he asked her while looking playfully at the dog. "Yes, I think. He came here to me asking for food, but I don't have any," she said sadly. Just as she finished saying that, her stomach grumbled loudly. "Well, we can't have that now, can we?" "Wait a second," he said as his hands lit up with blue and red flames. After bringing his hands together, there a basket of onigiri and sushi in his hands. He had used his Bambutsu Sozo no Jutsu, an ability granted to him by the Rinnegan. He could create anything by mixing his yin and yang chakra. Though he was right now only limited to small things like food or weapons, he couldn't create living things yet. He had discovered this ability recently. Whoa, how did you do that? Can you teach it to me? Well, a sage never reveals his secret, and no, I can't teach it to you as it's a technique only exclusive to me, sorry. She looked downtrodden at hearing this but soon perked up at the prospect of having something to eat. She took the basket from his hand and gave some rice balls to the dog. She started munching down on the food and later realized that there was no salt in the onigiri. Now why is there no salt in this? She asked him with a look that made Naruto uncomfortable. Oh crap, sorry, I just learned this technique so you'll have to forgive me for this, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head sheepishly. So Naruto-san, you said you are a sage, but then why don't you look old and wise? She asked teasingly. Well, I'm older than you think, and hey, did you just call me stupid looking? Naruto asked with mock rage. She laughed again at this. He really liked listening to her laugh. You've got a cute laugh, he said, complimenting her. She blushed at hearing this, and he found that even cuter. Seeing that they were getting wet in the rain, Naruto took her aside near the beach and going through some hand seals he created a large wooden house. But the house was crooked and seemed unfinished. The jutsu was called Mokuton, Shichuka no Jutsu. It created a house using his wood release. Naruto had gained the ability to use Mokuton after he got the Rinnegan. Having Hashirama's chakra in his system was a bonus that allowed him to master the technique to some extent and not be utterly exhausted after using it. He had learned this technique from his Mokuton sensei Yamato. The girl was really shocked to say, was her savior even a human? Or had he eaten some weird devil fruit? Many questions went through her mind. Now you can sleep here without having to worry about getting the cold, he told her. Thank you, Naruto-san. I can't believe you did this just for me. Hey, don't worry about it. Now sleep, I have to go back. Keep the kunai with you so I can come here. You see, the kunai acts as a beacon to my technique which allows me to travel to your location. So don't lose it, okay, because it'll keep you safe. She just nodded happily. Then ruffling her hair once again, Naruto disappeared in a yellow flash. Flashback end. That world seemed to have problems from what he had seen, plus he could use some fun. All the sitting around had made him quite rusty. He had figured a way to differentiate the dimensions using his sensory technique. All the dimensional rifts vibrated at different energy frequency. By identifying the frequency, he could identify which was which dimension. He decided to open a rift to the dimension where he had met the girl. He just couldn't remember her name now. He decided that he would search for her and see if she was safe, and also try to spread his message of peace while he was at it. After all, being the child of prophecy meant he had to bring peace to the world he adopted, and that was exactly what he was going to do. Entering the rift, only one thought crossed Naruto's mind. A new world, a new beginning. He exited the rift, and he thought something that sounded deep but was just an acute observation. It had been 20 years since he had last visited this world, but things were different then. Then, he had Kurama and the others inside him, but now he was alone. He was also less powerful now that he thought about it. After his fight with Sasuke, he had found himself unable to access the Rikudo Senjutsu. It was like he just couldn't summon the power. This led to him to theorize that when he had all the 9 Biju's chakra in his body, he became a pseudo-Jubi Jinchuriki, and thus was granted half the powers of the sage. But after the battle with Sasuke, Naruto had been almost on death's doorsteps. He had exhausted most of his, and the other tailed beast chakra within himself. And that's why he had lost the ability. But now he had the chakra of all 9 Bijus again. Maybe he could enter it again, but decided to test it for later. If he could access it, he would have to access in times when the situation was dire, and he needed the power the most, and with no Kurama to recharge him when he was down, he would now have to be careful how he flaunted around the power. He also didn't want to go to Kurama and ask him to get back in him, as he deserved to be free, but decided to cross that bridge when he arrived there. Now that his train of thought had ended, he realized the situation he was in because he was standing on sea with no land in sight. He had no idea where he could start searching for the girl. Sitting down on the surface of the sea, he started gathering natural energy, and within a few moments the area just around his eyes gained orange pigmentation. He opened his eyes and they had gained a golden color with horizontal bar-like pupils. This was his Sennin mode. Mixing Senjutsu chakra with his chakra, he gained this ability. When he had first started using Sannin mode, he needed to gather natural energy for longer periods of time, which made it impractical in combat situations. He had come up with a workaround using his shadow clones, but that still didn't make it any easier. When he was a freshly minted sage, he needed to pull in the nature energy around him against its flow, but now, after years of practice and living with oneness in nature, the energy had started flooding into him as if floodgates had been opened. Now it was just a matter of opening the gates just enough so that he could take the prerequisite Senjutsu chakra within him, and then he closed the gates. It took only mere moments for this to happen. But in a battle, the more he used his own chakra, the harder it would get to balance the Senjutsu chakra and would need more concentration. Well, he could still use his Karama chakra mode since Karama had left him but loads of chakra as a parting gift. It wasn't like the other Bijus had been stingy, but compared to them, Karama just had tons of more chakra, so he naturally got more from him. Sensing some mild chakra signatures on the level with civilians to the northwest of his position some miles away, he started running towards them from his position. In a few minutes he had covered about 50 miles and had reached his destination. There he saw a horrifying sight. A teenage girl was being chased by pirates. I get a sense of déjà vu here. An orange-haired teen was running for her life with a map clutched to her chest. She was being followed by 3 very burly, angry-looking men. I finally did it. Finally got the map to Grand Line. The girl seemingly said to herself between breaths. You bitch, give it back, one of them said. How dare you steal the map of Grand Line from us? Second one bellowed. Damn it, I don't want to be blasted by boss's cannon, the third one screamed. Just as they were closing on her, suddenly a man appeared before them. The man had sunny blonde hair and was wearing an orange overcloak underneath, which was a black t-shirt and blue shinobi pants. The girl was looking back at the man who was facing her pursuers, and the men were gawking at the speed at which the man appeared. Grown men chasing little girls kind of sends a wrong message, doesn't it? He quipped at the expense of the 3 men. Hey, I'm no little girl, the orange-haired girl told him, and then she continued, thank you boss, they almost caught me, she said, trying to involve him in this game of cat and mouse. And then she ran away saying, I'll leave the rest to you. Huh? What was that about? Anyway, stop chasing teen girls through a deserted town, it kind of sends a wrong impression. You're her boss, huh? We'll make you pay for your underling's crime. Now, I'm sure we can solve this peacefully. No need for any of you to get hurt. You're just a weakling, huh, trying to talk us out of this. Let's get him, boys, one of them shouted as they charged at him. Naruto jumped over the first charging man, and using his head as a base, front flipped with his right hand, which sent the charging man meet the ground with his face. The man got up, his face bleeding courtesy of the rough surface of the ground. The 3 men had things that differentiated them from each other. One had a bandana, the other had stitches across his forehead, and the third had black hair. Yeah, he just had black hair. The bandana guy attacked him with a forward slash of his sword, which Naruto sidestepped and sent a punch across his face which knocked him out. Guess he didn't know how to his own strength after years of no combat. The girl who was watching this from a roof of a nearby house thought to herself, wow, this guy is really strong, huh? The 2 men now became cautious, but Naruto now was getting impatient. I really wanted to settle this without any conflict, but now I'm getting bored of this pointless fight, so I'll end this right now. With that said, just as Naruto was about to knock them out, Ayahawk! There was a scream, and then something landed on the 2 aggressors, knocking them out cold. Ah, I'm saved. A voice came from the dust cloud that was created when the thing landed on them. I'm hungry, the voice moaned. A boy came out of the dust cloud patting his clothes all over. He looked to be about the same as the orange-haired girl. You know where I can get some food around here? The boy asked. He was wearing short blue trouser and a sleeveless red vest. He had straw hat on his head which suited him quite nicely. You must forgive me, for I am new here, I can't help you out with that matter, Naruto politely told him. Never mind, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, I am going to be the king of pirates. Naruto quickly became wary of this boy. From what he could gather of his previous visits to this world, pirates were bad guys. But this boy didn't have any malice in him that he had started correlating with pirates. Why do you want to be a pirate king? What do you think being a pirate is? Naruto asked, hoping to mine some information regarding his intentions. It's simple really, the one who has the most freedom on the seas is the pirate king, and being a pirate is all about following your dreams no matter what. Naruto was surprised by this answer, so simple yet deep. The orange-haired girl who had ran away then returned. Wow, you are really strong, thanks for helping me out there. What helping you out there? You just sicked them on me and ran away. Naruto said, a little pissed off. Sticking her tongue out and punching her head in a playful manner, she said, "Teehee. Don't you teehee me," Naruto retorted. "Anyways, I'm Nami. Man, you are really strong. Want to be my partner? And who's your friend?" "No, I'm not interested in being a partner to a thief. Yes, I know you stole that map. You shouldn't pick fights with people you can't face." "And this is Luffy," he said, reprimanding her with sagely wisdom, and while introducing Luffy to her. "Hi, I'm Luffy. Do you have anything to eat? Now you two younguns mingle while I go look for something else interesting." And he left. What does he mean, younguns? He's basically the same age as us. "I'm hungry," Luffy moaned again. "Come on, I'll treat ya." It's the least she could do for the man who had indirectly knocked out her pursuers. A little while later, with Naruto. He had been walking around the town and had found it deserted. Only one he could find was a dog in front of a pet food store. The dog just gave him a curious glance and went back to staring ahead. Thinking of nothing else to do, he went and sat by the dog's side and started stroking his head. The dog had white fur with a long face. Animals' emotions were tricky for him to sense. They were mostly hungry or afraid of him. But this dog was sad and angry. "Why such a long face?" he snickered at his own joke. "I know how you feel. I have no idea how to start my quest or where to look for her. It's been such a long time too. I wonder if she remembers me?" he sighed. The dog just gave him a weird look and then started barking as if trying to say something. Hearing the dog barking, a man came out from a nearby street and started walking toward them. "Hey, stop pestering Shushu. Get away from him." "I'm not pestering him, just talking, and it seems like he is talking with me too. Anyways, who are you, old man?" The man had white hair and a weird hairstyle and glasses. He was wearing a makeshift armor. "I'm the mayor of this town," he proclaimed proudly. "A mayor by yourself, huh? I guess you were the only candidate and the only voter, am I right or what?" he said, proud of his joke. What? "No. I was elected by a majority by this town's people. But ever since that dastardly pirate came and ran us out of this town, I'm the only one here now. We are weak, but I refuse to hand over this town to some pirates. I am going to fight for my home." "That's the spirit, Aji-san. But before you go, tell me the whole story of this town and why the pirates came," Naruto asked, interested to know the story behind the forsaking of town. "I suppose I can tell you that much. A few years ago, a man named Saho came to this town from an island called Alabasta in Grand Line. He settled down in this town and was a peaceful man. We called him Vicky. Vicky had drawn some maps of some places in Grand Line and how to enter that place. The maps were one of its kind and was the pride of this town. There was supposedly also a treasure map hidden among them." He sighed. "It was all our fault, really. We shouldn't have paraded it around, but word of this maps reached Buggy, the clown pirate, and he came here looking for them. We, after a discussion amongst us, we decided to hand him the maps as the lives of townspeople were more important, but Buggy took this as a sign of weakness and threw us out of our own town. Hawker, my friend and Shushu's owner, was one of the first to protest this, and he was beaten by the pirates to be made an example. He died some days later. The reason Shushu stands here is because the shop behind him was Hawker's. He stands guard here day and night to protect his legacy. Nowadays the pirates just plunder our food stores and keep blowing up the houses with his cannon. It's deplorable, really, that we were driven out of here," the mayor finished. "I see," Naruto said solemnly. "So that's why the town was deserted, why only the Shushu and the mayor were here. I think what you are doing is noble, Mayor-san. More people should be like you, to fight for what matters," he said, and after a pause he continued. "I know, I'll help you in cleaning out the pirates out of this town, but first gather the townspeople and announce your intentions to them. I'm sure many will follow you because after all this is their home, their safe place. Till then I'll scope out the place and wait for you here." The mayor was happy. This young man wanted to help him and had gave him something to think about. He was no fool. He knew if he went alone he would be beaten just like Hawker, but with others with him, then maybe they could have a chance. Bidding him bye, he went towards the outskirts of town to gather forces. Now that he is out of the way, time to teach these pirates a lesson. Patting Shushu's head for one last time, he went towards the area where he could feel a large number of chakra signatures. 3 were heading this way. 2 of them he recognized, Luffy and Nami. He met them halfway there. The new addition was a green-haired man. He looked about a year older than Naruto. He had 3 swords strapped to his body and a wound on his stomach. He was carrying Luffy, who was tied and left inside a cage. "What happened to you guys?" And Luffy, why are you in a cage? Captain, who is this guy? The green-haired man asked Luffy, wary of Naruto. Zoro, this is who are you anyways? Luffy asked. Yes, I never got your name, Nami added. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the Gamma Sennin, he said, striking a pose. Huh, was all they said with a sweat drop forming on the back of their heads. Never mind me, what happened to you guys? He asked them again. The big red nose did this. The now named Zoro told him. Who? Naruto asked, perplexed. Buggy the clown, we are running away from him, Nami answered. Hey! You are running away, I'm just retreating for a while, Zoro told Nami, to which Luffy agreed by nodding HM. What a coincidence, I'm looking for him. Point me in his direction, will you? WHY? Why look for him, he's a bad man, Nami asked, suddenly cautious of Naruto. Was he going to join the man? Was he also a pirate? Well, I met with the mayor of this town, and he told me of the crimes this Buggy has committed. I've got a bone to pick with guys like him, people who think that if they have power then they can do anything, even take someone's life. I hate people like them, and so for that reason I'm looking for him, to teach him a lesson. The way he said it struck a chord within Nami's heart, the conviction with which he said it made shivers go down her spine. It was as if he was talking about her situation, it made her respect him. Well, he's that way, Zoro said, pointing towards his direction. And by the way, do you need help with the cage, Luffy? Naruto asked them. Yes, please. I've got it, Nami said, fishing a key out of her pocket before Naruto could act. Anyways, if an old man in makeshift armor comes here, kindly stop him from going ahead from this point. He's a good man and I don't want him getting hurt in the ensuing fight, Naruto told them. Sure, Luffy told him. Well, I sense two people coming this way. I trust that you guys can handle them, Naruto told them, and took off in Buggy's direction. With Buggy. Damn that thief and her boss, Buggy muttered to himself. What are you guys doing gawking at my nose? Go catch them and bring me Roronoa's head. Captain Buggy! Captain Buggy! The man who defeated the superhuman Domingos is here. He is asking us to surrender peacefully, and he will not hurt us, he says. He also said to give back what we have plundered from the town. Yo, Naruto greeted them casually as he walked towards Buggy. You've got quite a lot of nerve coming here. Get him, boys, Buggy ordered them to attack. Within few seconds most of Buggy's crew were lying on the ground, beaten and knocked out. It was so fast that if he hadn't seen this feat he would have considered it a joke by someone. Most of his crewmates were down on the ground. Now will you surrender peacefully or will you have me make an example out of you? He asked casually while picking his ear. Don't worry, Sancho, I'll handle the scum who thinks he can just traipse around here. The man was wearing a white and blue checkered scarf. Yes, Kabeji, see to it that I'm not disturbed, Buggy told the now named Kabeji. He started traveling towards Naruto on his unicycle, and while feigning a forward slash yelled Kyakugi, Kaji Oyaji, blazing breath, and breathed fire on Naruto's face. He felt pride soar in his chest at defeating this opponent so easily, but was shocked when he just found a burning log instead of the blonde man. I'll show you how to breathe fire for real, Katan, and he breathed out fire that easily dwarfed Kabeji's. It was just simple fire manipulation, really, not even a real jutsu. The end result was Kabeji rolling on the floor, trying to put out the fire. But before he could get up, Naruto kicked him in the head, which sent him flying into a wall. Now surrender peacefully and I'll take you to this world's authorities, that's option A, and if you resist, I'll still take you to the authorities but with a broken body, that's option B. The choice is yours. I'll choose option C, I'll just kill you and get away scot-free, he said as he lunged at Naruto. I see you chose option B, Naruto said to him as he sidestepped his attacks and danced circles around him. Getting really tired of him not able to land a strike, Buggy disbanded his body into pieces and flew towards him, intending on surprising him with this attack. Naruto was, to say the least, surprised. He had seen weird abilities, but this one took the prize. The moment of surprise cost him time which he could have used to dodge the attack. The sword made contact with Naruto's chest and broke into pieces. The reason was that Naruto hadn't yet exited the sage mode he had entered when he came to the island. Wah! How is this possible? Buggy exclaimed. It's a little thing that I have called Sennin mode. It augments my physical capabilities to superhuman levels. But enough of that. It's time for you to go to sleep, Naruto said as he grabbed his head and smashed it into his forehead. Buggy was knocked out instantly. Luffy and his friends who were watching this were floored. This man had just single-handedly defeated a man with 15 million belly bounty as if it was child's play. Then they remembered that they were running away from the townspeople for knocking out the mayor. Naruto, who saw them, started running with them. "Why are we running?" he asked innocently. "Because this idiot Nami said, pointing towards Luffy, knocked the man you asked us to keep an eye out for." "What?" Naruto screamed out in rage. He knew Luffy would not do something like this for no reason, but he was just angry now. "Stop," Naruto said, holding out his hand, and they all stopped instinctively. "We are going to talk this through with the villagers and clear the misunderstanding. First of all, why did you knock him out, Luffy?" "Well, he was going to enter the fight that you were fighting, and when the villagers asked if I knocked him out, I just said yes." That was exactly what I asked you to do, but you could have just restrained him. No need to knock an old man out." Imitating Nami's previous teehee expression, Luffy said, "Teehee. Don't teehee me, you idiot." Naruto almost cried out, asking gods what he did to deserve to be in such a situation. "Hey! You!" Stop, a villager who noticed them cried out. They stood there until he reached them. "You will pay for attacking Budo-san. He himself will sentence you as the mayor." Just then the mayor appeared out of the now forming crowd among them. "It's you, boy. I came searching for you, but you were not there. Then this boy attacked me, saying I couldn't interfere in the fight." He addressed Naruto. "Mayor-san, I assure you this is all just a misunderstanding. I went to face Buggy and asked this guys to not let you go there as you might have gotten hurt, but my friend here used excessive force by accident, and thus you were knocked out. Tell you what, as a compensation you can collect the pirate's bounty and his treasure for yourself and repair the town. I won't collect it." "That sounds reasonable." "Hey, what are you doing, Naruto? We could use the money," Nami asked him. "Nami, this people had been oppressed by the pirate, and some even lost their lives. I can't just take their one chance of regaining their lives back from them. They need the money, and plus I'm sure Luffy will agree with me too. Am I right, Luffy? Yeah, just give us meat, and we are good." "Yo, you selfless idiots," Nami huffed, but understood the situation somewhat since it was similar to her own situation back home. "Hey, Naruto," Luffy addressed him. "Huh?" Naruto, who was taking a nap on the small boat they four were in, replied/asked. "Join my crew, nah." "Luffy, while I would love to be your nakama, I just came here a day back. I need time to think about who I ally myself with. Please forgive me for declining your offer right now. But tell you what, I'll surely think about it." After which he went back to his nap. Luffy, who normally would have kept on pursuing this subject, decided to let him have time to think. Nami, who had been observing this, felt a sense of relief spread in her chest as she saw him decline his offer to be a pirate. While she didn't have anything against Luffy, she didn't exactly have good history with pirates. Zoro was napping blissfully, unaware that this conversation ever happened. "If we head south, there is a small inhabited village there. Maybe we can find a good ship there," Nami told them as she was looking over a map. Time to eat some meat," Luffy exclaimed at hearing the news regarding an inhabited village. You see, the past few days that they were on the small boat, they had been eating only fruits, as fruits were the only thing that had yet to go bad from heat. "Some sake would be nice," Zoro chimed in. "Some ramen would be good too," Naruto added. It seemed these past years hadn't affected his appetite for ramen. "Grrh, you guys only think about eating and drinking?" Nami asked. "Yes," replies Luffy. Naruto wasn't thinking his pose, thinking back on his fight with Buggy. The ability he had used was different than what he had seen back on his world. He wondered if there were more people who could separate their body into parts. Was that a Kekkai Genkai of Buggy's or some common technique in this world? Nami, who had been taking peeks at Naruto ever since they left Orange Town, noticed him deep in thought. Scooting closer to him, she asked, "What are you thinking about, Naruto?" Oh, nothing. It's just that when fighting with Buggy he used this weird technique. He split his body into different parts and attacked me. You saw that, right? So I was wondering how he did that," Naruto, who was roused of his trance, told her. "Oh, that? I think I know how he did that. He must have eaten a devil fruit that granted him those abilities." "Devil fruits?" Naruto asked, puzzled. "You know devil fruits, fruits that grant people who eat them abilities. Like Luffy here, for example, has eaten Gomu Gomu no Mi. That fruit changed his body to that of a rubber." "Oh, I see, so it can change your body like it did with Buggy and Luffy. Is that the extent of it?" "Well, yes, basically, but there are 3 types of fruit, namely Paramecia, which is what Luffy ate, and then there are Zoan and Logia types. Logia is said to be strongest as you can't physically hurt them. But they all have one weakness, they can't swim, and in sea's water their strength is sucked out of them. Why don't you know about this? It's common knowledge. Were you living under a rock or something? Something like that, he mumbled. Land HOY, Zoro shouted as he saw a silhouette of an island forming on the horizon. Finally, now I can get some meat. Ignoring Luffy, Naruto asked her, so do these fruits grow on a tree? And no, not that I know of, even though the knowledge of fruits' powers is common, their origins are shrouded in mystery. Nami told him as she placed a stray strand of hair behind her ear. Soon they landed and docked the ship. The way to the village was cut between two opposing slopes of land that were at greater height than the road. Carrying out his usual routine when in a new place, Naruto spread his sensory awareness around. He sensed about 4 people hiding in the bushes, though they were no threat as they were just children and 1 teen, nothing he couldn't handle. Zoro, who was yawning, suddenly stiffened and placed his right hand on the sword. Careful, someone's here. Just as he said, a number of projectiles were shot at Luffy's feet, which made him hop from one leg to other to dodge. It was quite comical to see. Fear me, for I am the captain of pirates who conquered this village. A voice called out from atop one of the small cliff there. Everyone praise me and call me Captain Usopp. The voice belonged to one boy. He was scrawny and was wearing brown overall with no shirt, a white sash at his hip and a yellow bag at his side. Though his most defining feature was his longer than normal nose. As he finished his proclamation, a number of pirate flags popped out of bushes. If you enter here, you will have to face my 80 million men who will crush you like a bug. An expression of amazement and wonder spread across Naruto and Luffy's face respectively at hearing this. Luffy because he really believed that there were 80 million men there, and Naruto because he was impressed by the blatant lie the kid had just told them. 80 million! Luffy cried out in amazement. Idiot, that's a lie, obviously, Zoro told him. What? A lie? Luffy sounded crestfallen. Shit, he caught me, the long-nosed boy said to himself loudly. I might not have millions of men at my command, but I have strong companions, he boasted. All 3 of them? Nami asked slyly. Shit, we are caught. I can't do this. I don't want to die, said 3 different voices, and out of bushes came 3 little children, and they scurried off towards the village. Shit, said the long-nosed boy, and then suddenly he whipped out a slingshot out of his bag and aimed it at Luffy. I might just be attacking with pachinko, but my skill with it is better than pistol. Adjusting his straw hat, eyes hidden by its shadow, Luffy said, now that you mentioned pistols. He looked up straight at the boy and stated, bet your life on it, it's not a tool to scare people. And just like that, all the determination the boy had disappeared, his legs started quivering and his ammo pachinko fell to the ground. As I thought, real pirates are a different thing, the boy again loudly said to himself. At hearing this, Luffy and Zoro started laughing. I just repeated what my idol Shanks once said. SH Shanks, you say, you know that great pirate? The boy asked Luffy, a sense of wonder spreading across his face. Yasopp, isn't it, your father's name? The boy was shocked to say the least, and in his shock lost his footing on the cliff and fell down comically. How do you know my father? The boy asked Luffy curiously. I met him when he was with Shanks, I believe he still is. Your father is the best marksman I've ever seen, Luffy told him. I see, the boy said, unable to contain his excitement. Not to intrude on this emotional moment, but can we get to eat and talk? I'm hungry, you know. Naruto, who was observing this silently, broke his silence. Ah, yes, meat, Luffy agreed. And that's why I know about you. Your father never stopped once he started talking about you. After Luffy had recounted his story regarding Yasopp, Usopp was extremely happy at hearing that his father was really a great pirate. Nami broached the subject regarding their need for a ship, but Usopp said that they were just a small village. Then when Zoro pointed out the large, expensive-looking mansion and whether or not if they could finance them, Usopp suddenly got mum about it. Then, citing that he remembered something important, he left, asking them to order anything as he knew the owner of the shop pretty well. Well, that could have gone better, Naruto said, patting his stomach. He had devoured 15 bowls of ramen. It was safe to say that Naruto loved ramen as much as Luffy loved meat. Just then there was a chime at the door, and the 3 kids that had ran away appeared with short wooden swords in their hands. What have you done with Captain Usopp? A boy with green pepper-like hairstyle asked. Ah, that was some good meat, Luffy said, rubbing his gut. Do not tell me that Captain Usopp was. Zoro, not missing the chance to mess with the kid, said with an evil glint in his eyes, your captain was eaten. Oni Alibaba, they said, pointing at Nami, who a second ago was enjoying the show. Naruto, who heard this, burst out laughing. Onibaba, he said, holding his stomach. After hearing Naruto laugh at the name, she blushed and started cursing Luffy and Zoro. The kids were looking at them in abject horror. Seeing this, Naruto tried to calm them down. Settle down, kids, your friend just remembered some important stuff to do and went away just a while ago. You can still find him, but if you would be so kind, I believe my friends have some questions for you. Hearing this, they relaxed visibly. Okay, that's good, because otherwise we would have beaten you. The boy with the orange cap bandana said with false bravado. Well, first, if all your names would be nice, Nami said. Oh, that's an easy one. I'm Tamaniji, the boy with the glasses said, and then pointing at the boy with orange and bandana, he's Ninjin, and that's Paimon. And after that, they answered many of their questions regarding the village and where they could get a big ship. The kids told them about the mansion and its owner's history. Turned out the now owner of the mansion was a young sickly girl named Kaya. 3 years back her parents had died in an accident, and she had been orphaned, but all was not sad as she found faithful servant and friend in her butler Clahador. He was her ever since her father took him in from the streets. It turned out to cheer her up. Usopp would tell her outrageous lies about his supposed adventures, and he was very protective of Kaya, and that might have been the reason why he was mum about the mansion and its people. It was then that Luffy decided that they should ask her for a ship. So they went to the mansion led by the 3 Usopp pirates. There were guards at the gate, so Luffy had a bright idea, which was actually a stupid one, but they went along with it nevertheless. Luffy stretched his arms, grabbing the fence and creating a slingshot, and then asked everybody to grab him. And then they flew up and later came crashing down on the other side of the fence by a tree on which Usopp was sitting. Naruto was the only one who landed gracefully. Using his mastery over wind, he glided down like a badass while carrying the 3 kids safely down. Kaya and Usopp were surprised to see them. Who are they? Kaya asked Usopp, a bit afraid of the strangers. Don't be afraid. They are people who heard about me and have come to join me. Usopp lied. That's not it. I have a favor to ask you, Luffy told the girl. A favor from me? Kaya asked, surprised. Yes, we need a big ship, Luffy stated, spreading out his arms to signify big. You there, what are you doing here? A man within a black suit and with glasses asked as he walked towards Clahador. You are trespassing here and causing trouble, he told them. Now, Butler-san, we are just trying to ask the Oja-sama here a favor, Naruto said, trying to ease in the tension. For all I care, you might as well be begging, he said to Naruto, and then to Kaya he said, Kaya-sama, how many times have I told you not to associate with this kind of filth? He is the town's troublemaker. He lies to you, Kaya-sama. His father is just a low-life pirate who left his mother and him to chase a worthless dream. Clahador, cease this at once. Apologize to Usopp-san, Kaya told him. Why should I, Oja-sama? What I'm saying is the truth. He is just a son of a low-class pirate. You called my father low-class, Usopp said through gritted teeth. What, you are actually owning up to the fact that he is your father? At times like this you should just do what you do best, lie. Just say that he is not your real father or that he is not your birth father. Really angry now, Usopp descended from the tree and was about to charge at Clahador, but a grip on his shoulder stopped him. Looking back, he saw one Naruto Uzumaki staring at him with warm but steely gaze, as if judging him. Under his gaze, Usopp faltered and his anger seemed to disappear. He's not worth it, not right now, Naruto told Usopp. We're leaving, he told the group. Yes, leave and don't come back, Clahador called out. It was evening time and sun was setting, leaving a fire-orange hue across the clouds. After they had left the mansion grounds, Usopp left the group saying he needed to be alone. He was on a cliff sitting on a rock overlooking the sea. Below the cliff was a small rocky expanse of a beach. It was here that Naruto found him sitting alone. He went and sat by his side. You know why I stopped you? Naruto broke the silence after a full minute. When no reply came, he answered his own question. Throughout life people will make you mad, disrespect you and treat you bad. Let karma deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too. It will make you do things that you wouldn't normally do just because. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing whether the things they said about you are true. You know in your heart that your father is a great man and many other know it too. Don't let what he said get to you. I see, Usopp said solemnly. He wasn't still convinced though, because he wanted to sock that butler right across his face. He wanted him to take back what he said, but he saw the truth in what Naruto said. He wouldn't do that because he knew what he said held no ground. What did he know about his dad anyways? Turning, he thanked Naruto and was about to get up, but Naruto held his down and put a hand over his mouth. Usopp was distressed. What was this blonde man going to do him? Then B saw what Naruto was pointing at. Clahador and a man with dirty blonde hair and wearing a purple coat were walking towards the area below the cliff. I see you still haven't gotten around to controlling your powers, Clahador told the man in pink dressing. I assure you I have them under control. Then why did I find you sleeping in the middle of the road? You're attracting attention to yourself when I specifically told you not to. I'm sorry, won't happen again, the weird man said, sounding a bit ashamed. Django, I must ask you, how are the preparations for the plan going along? They are coming along fine, Kuro. By tomorrow morning the Oja-sama will be dead and you'll be living like a king, Django told him. For me to live like a king, you must first hypnotize her and make her sign the will giving her inheritance to me and make it look like that an accident killed her. Okay, Kuro. And raise this village to the ground, let them know the might of Kuro pirates. Usopp sucked in a breath through gritted teeth. These men were going to kill Kaya. He had to warn her. Naruto had the same thought going through his mind, but he knew she wouldn't believe them. She would trust in Clahador and not them. They slowly inched away from the cliff and towards the road. We have to tell her, she has to know what they are planning, Usopp said, wiping the sweat that had formed on his forehead. Yes, we do, but do you truly believe that she will trust you over him? He has been with her for years, taking care of her, being there for her, perfecting his disguise. As it is now, he is more trustworthy and loyal that they can't imagine Clahador betraying them. We have to think this through. All we know is that they are going to attack tomorrow morning from sea, I guess. We have to base our plan around it. Yeah, that's good. You make a plan while I'll warn the villagers. And with that, Usopp took off. It seemed that he was stubborn as an oak tree. Naruto made a clone and made him follow Usopp discreetly while he went back to his friends. He found them sitting by a fence on the side of the road. Zoro was napping like always. Luffy was talking animatedly with the kids and Nami was sitting lost in thought. Yo, Naruto greeted them. Naruto, where were you? You know we were just going to look for you, Nami asked, getting out of her stupor. Yeah, I was with Usopp. I thought he might need someone to talk to, after his dad was insulted, Naruto told her, walking towards her. He took a seat by her side. By the way, kids, Usopp told me to tell you guys to go home. Your moms were looking for you or something. The kids looked confused. Why would their mother ask Usopp to spread this message? Their mothers hated Usopp and their involvement with him. But they went home nevertheless, as it was already getting late. After the kids were out of sight, Naruto spoke up again. Wake up, Zoro. I think all of you need to know this. After Zoro had woken up, Naruto told them what they had overheard. Just as he finished, Usopp came running towards them. He was panting from the exhaustion. It looked like he had been shot at, if the wound on his shoulder was anything to go by. Guys, I tried, I really did, but no one would believe me. They said if I was as trustworthy as Clahador they would have believed me, but I'm just a town's liar to them. Well, there goes our plan A. Thankfully I had the mind to construct a plan B. We are going to protect the village from the pirates. I'm not going to force you guys to do this. If you're going to help me, do it on your own volition, Naruto told them. It's because every life is precious, and these are just innocent villagers whose only crime was to trust in Clahador. I for one am not going to stand by idly as they are slaughtered for one man's ambition. So who with me? Naruto asked. Even though Usopp's legs were quivering in fear, he raised his hand. I know this village doesn't hold me in high regard, but this is the village that I was born in. This is my home, the place where my friends live, the place where Kaya lives, so I am going to protect this place with my life. How can I call myself a brave warrior of sea if I couldn't protect my home? Attaboy, Usopp. You have my strength, Luffy told them. And my sword, Zoro added. And my wooden staff? Nami said, trying to include herself in the conversation. Alright, I'm proud of you guys for doing this for the village. We may not get the recognition, but we'll sleep better knowing what we did, Naruto told them. But what about Kaya? Won't she be in danger now that Clahador is at her home now? I tried warning Kaya, but Mary, another one of her servants, shot me. I've already taken care of that matter. Now I could easily take out the pirates, but you guys need to grow if you are going to be a formidable crew. But first we need to know your skills. I can cut, Zoro said. I can steal, Nami added. I can stretch, Luffy stated. I can hide, Usopp said nonchalantly. Okay, Usopp and Nami-chan aside, only two of you have fighting skills. I know Nami can handle herself against 2-3 pirates with her staff. Usopp, you stay behind and provide long-range support. So there are 2 places where they can dock their ships. One is the place where we docked, and the other on the south side of here. I think we should split up. Luffy and Zoro, you take side while me and Nami will take the north. Usopp, you will go to Kaya's place and keep an eye on the goings there. If anything or anyone gets past us, you will have to take care of them. We'll make sure that it doesn't happen. If the pirates don't land on either north or south side of the village, the respective team will go and back the other one. Anyone have anything else to add? He asked them. With a collective no, the plan was set in motion. Now they just had to wait for the morning. The sun came up over the horizon, and thus the day began. Everything was silent, as if the Mother Nature was spectating what was going to happen. No birds were singing and no crickets were chirping. The only sound was of the wind cutting through the cliffs on either side of the road. The sea was void of any vessels traversing through it, and Luffy was getting bored. He wanted to fight strong people and test his mettle. Zoro too wanted that. Maybe they should have opted and taken the northern slope where the action was maybe happening. They decided that they had waited enough and they started moving towards the northern slope. 3 hours later, Luffy and Zoro arrived to the site of the slope filled with unconscious pirates tired in bunches. Claador, or Captain Kuro as he was called by his crew, was among them, his face swollen bloody. They had been lost on the way there, with Luffy saying that they should go where it was cold to reach the north slope and Zoro following his captain. At one point, Luffy lost Zoro, so he had to look for him, and by the time they got there, they were 3 hours late, and it seemed that the action was over. Naruto was sitting by a tree while Nami was looking for the treasure on the pirate ship. Usopp was sitting with Kaya, who was fussing over his injuries. Yo! Nice of you two to join us here, Naruto quipped. What happened here? Zoro asked, impressed. Did you do this alone? Well, Nami-chan helped somewhat. What were you guys doing? Well, Zoro got lost on the way here, so I had to look for him, Luffy said, trying to blame him. Smacking Luffy upside the head, Zoro said, hey, you were the one who was making us lost. Nami, who came back empty-handed, was observing this. Anyways, you should have seen Naruto fight here. His fight with Buggy was nothing compared to this. His speed, oh man, I couldn't even see him. He defeated them within a minute. I didn't even have to do anything. And then when Kuro came and started blitzing from here to there, Naruto just grabbed him out of thin air and punched him so bad that he got knocked out. And then another Naruto came with Kaya and Usopp, but then after talking with our Naruto here, he disappeared in smoke. Nami said, unable to hide her excitement. Suga Luffy was amazed at hearing this, while Zoro was impressed to say the least, but they were both confused about the other Naruto part. After the fight, Kaya had asked them to come over the beach by the mansion the next day, to which they complied. They were surprised when she gifted them a Caravel-class ship. Is this really for us? Luffy asked excitedly. Yes, please accept it, Kaya told him. The ship's name is Going Merry. It's a Caravel-class ship. Let me brief you on the working of the ship. First, on how to turn it on and adjust the POW. No, you just need to tell me how to operate it. It'll go over these guys' heads anyways. Hey, you calling me stupid, Nami-chan? No, Naruto, I'm calling you an idiot, Nami said, sticking out her tongue playfully. After that, Usopp came to bid them goodbye and said that he was finally ready to commence his journey as a pirate. He said that he would see them soon. But Luffy asked him, why? You're really slow, aren't you? Now that I'm a pirate, we might meet someday out on the sea. Usopp told him matter-of-factly. What are you talking about? Get on the ship, Zoro just said to him. We're already Nakama, Luffy added. Usopp's eyes started to tear up and a bit of snot came out his nose. I'm the captain, he said, jumping up excitedly. Hey, I'm the captain, Luffy added, jumping down the ship. Naruto, who was watching this heartfelt moment between the friends, just made a sad smile. Must be nice to have friends. Naruto had been contemplating on what to do ever since he came to this world. Meeting Luffy and his merry band of pirates had served as a good distraction, but that was just temporary. He needed to bring peace to a war-torn world, and he managed that back in his world by the skin of his teeth, a place where he had bonds. Here he was alone, no Karamas to give him advice and bicker within the mills. He had only few bonds in this world, and one of them was with the little girl he had met 20 years ago. He wanted to sail with Luffy and fight with Zoro and talk with Nami and have fun with Usopp, but his ambition held him back from this. He knew what both Karamas would have told him. Live now, you've already done and suffered enough. Enjoy this world, but he knew within his heart that he wouldn't be able to do that. He had promised his sensei that he would find a way so that people could live in a world free of conflict, and for better or worse this was his world now. His home away from home. He needed to do that, and he couldn't do that as a pirate. The world saw pirates as a menace. They would never heed his words or follow his teachings. While he liked his new friends, could he forsake the world for them? He knew the old Naruto would do that in a heartbeat, but this one, the one who lived for a century, would weigh pros and cons, and this time the bad outweighed the good. But he wouldn't be Naruto if let his new friends alone for his goal, so he came to a compromise. He would place a seal on them that would let him teleport to them in an instant, or vice versa. This would make sure that they were safe, because just as they believed him to be their nakama, deep down Naruto too believed them to be his new nakama, plus friendship with future Pirate King would only increase his chances for end of conflict in this world. It was ironic, really. His world went through 4 great world wars before they could achieve peace. Very few understood that for peace to be there, you had to understand the way world worked. He needed to know the workings of this world before he attempted anything. He could do that by becoming a part of Marines, but that would restrict his workings, or he could forge his own way. After a lot of contemplation, he decided that he would become a wanderer like he was, offering his services to those who deserved it. It was decided then, he would have his own adventure. He would miss Luffy's antics and Zoro and Nami's bickering and Usopp's bold lies. Now he had to break this news to them. They deserved to know, plus he also had to place the seal on them. Outside, Luffy and Usopp were practicing their hand at the cannons while Nami was in the dining area with him going over maps, and Zoro was napping on one of the chairs. "Hey Nami, we need to talk." "Yeah?" "You know when we reach the next isla." Boom. There was a sound of cannon firing, and then Luffy's cheers could be heard along with Usopp's. They entered the kitchen area and started talking animatedly with each other loudly. He continued again, "On the next island where there are ships IY." He was interrupted again. This time a crash resounded on the deck of the ship, and voice could be heard swearing up and down. They went out to see what that was all about, and they saw a tan man with sunglasses breaking things on the ship and calling them out. Luffy, who saw this, got enraged, stretched his arms and pulled the man into a wall on the ship. That's when Zoro came out, and look of recognition spread across his face. "Hey you! Aren't you Johnny? Who dares to call my name with such disrespect? Zoro Aniki? What are you doing here destroying our ship? So Zoro Aniki, you're a pirate? Well, I became one recently, but that still doesn't answer my question to you." "Zoro Aniki, it's Yasaka. He's dying and I don't know what to do." Johnny broke down. "Oh, settle down, where is he? Get him in here," Zoro said, a bit alarmed. Naruto felt badly for him. Losing a friend was a depressing thing. They got the now named Yusaku up on the ship, and Johnny started narrating his symptoms. Nami, who came down when they brought him up, was listening intently. She later announced that he had scurvy and that he needed vitamin C-rich products to make him better. "You two," she said, pointing at Luffy and Usopp, "go to storeroom and get lemons, many lemons." They brought up a barrel of lemons and started squeezing it into Yusaku's mouth. A minute later Yusaku was up and he and Johnny were dancing and chanting, "He got better. He got better." "You don't get better that quick," Nami shouted at them. "Forgive us for not introducing ourselves. I'm Johnny. And I'm Yusaku. And we are pirate hunters." And after that Yusaku fell down again, his face pale. Yusaku had been laid down in the quarters with the help of Zoro and Naruto. They were in the kitchen eating when Nami reprimanded Luffy for his lack of knowledge on diseases one can suffer on a long sea trip. "Yes, I agree with Nami-chan, you should add someone with proper dietary knowledge to your crew," Luffy, Naruto told him. After a moment of silence, Luffy, who was munching on a dry piece of bread, announced his intent to add a sea cook to their crew. Everyone agreed with that decision, and then they realized the question hanging over their heads: where would they get a sea cook? Thankfully Johnny came to the rescue, saying that he knew a place where they could recruit a cook. The place was Bartai, the sea's restaurant. It was at this time that Naruto decided to announce his decision. "Now that we are all here, I think we need to talk. After we reach the next island, I'm thinking of separating from you guys. I like you guys and think of you as my nakama, but what I have a dream and it can't be achieved if I become a pirate." After 5 minutes of silence, Luffy spoke. "I understand." Luffy was surprisingly civil. Usopp was protesting, and Zoro was the one who told Usopp that when a man has a dream, one shouldn't stop them from reaching for it. This calmed down Usopp a bit. Johnny didn't have anything to add because he had just met the guy. Nami was the one who was hit the hardest, though she hid it under a smile. She felt betrayed. She thought that they had a connection, a bond that was forming ever since he saved her from the superhuman Domingos. Her heart felt constricted for some reason, and it hurt. God damn, it hurt. She was thinking of telling him her story and was going to ask him for help seeing how strong he was, but now he was leaving. She couldn't ask him that now, he was leaving them, never to come back. She didn't want to burden him with that. She thought he was selfish, focusing on his dream and leaving his friends alone. Now she wasn't even sure if he would have helped her if she asked. After all, who was she to him? She excused herself from the meeting and went to her room to vent. The next day reached the sea restaurant. As they were nearing it, a marine ship came out of nowhere heading in the same direction. A pink-haired man with a scar on his face came out on the deck and was facing them. "I've never seen this flag before," said the man. "Who is your captain?" "I'm Luffy." "I'm Usopp." "The flag was designed just yesterday," Luffy said. "I was the one who designed the flag," Usopp said. He laughed. "What kind of crew is this?" Looking towards Johnny and Yasaku, "I know you guys, don't you claim to be pirate hunters? Looks like you caught some." He laughed at his own joke. Johnny, who was enraged at being made fun of, threw down his wanted posters aiming it at the marine's face, but the wind brought them back to the ship where they scattered on the floor. Just then a blonde woman in a red party dress came out and hugged his arm. "Full body-san, let's go eat." "Yes, darling, let's." As he was going back, he told his marine guards, "This ship is an eyesore, sink it." "Yes, sir," the marines responded. They readied their cannons and aimed it at Going Merry. Naruto was going to act, but Luffy beat him to him. He stretched his hands to both ends of the ship and, acting as a slingshot, was about to redirect the cannonball, but he lost his hold on one end of the ship, and the cannonball with its inertia shot towards the sea restaurant, where it broke through the roof. A few chefs came out of the restaurant and dragged Luffy back inside. But Naruto wasn't paying attention to that. He was paying attention at Nami. She was looking intently at the poster of one Arlong. He was a mix between a human and a shark, reminded Naruto of Kisame, what with his blue skin and serrated teeth. Over the years, Naruto had mastered the art of body language, and so he could read other people using that. Not that he needed to anyways, as he had his emotion sensing ability, but he didn't like to use it on friends as it was paramount to reading their minds. Nami was enraged and scared. Her teeth were gritted and was nose flaring. Her body was stiff as a cardboard and her heartbeat was fast. He caught that last part due to his enhanced senses. She was reacting almost murderously to the poster. It seemed that she hated this pirate for some reason. Going over to her side, he put a comforting hand over her shoulder, and she tensed a little. He gave her a comforting smile, and she relaxed. Her eyes were watery, almost on the verge of tears. Naruto was about to say something to comfort her, but she excused herself from the deck. Naruto had noticed ever since he announced his intent to go separate ways, Nami had been avoiding him. They were inside the restaurant waiting for their food. It turned out the owner of the place had made a deal with Luffy. He would work here for a year and the owner would then forgive him. Naruto and the others had gotten tired of waiting for him on the ship and had entered the restaurant. They were met with a scene of the marine full body being beaten to shit by one man in a suit and tie. He was a blonde man, and from what Naruto could see, his eyebrows curled into a spiral. The man in the suit was stopped by the cooks, and another cook who came out of the room started a verbal fight with the man in the suit on how to treat paying customers. Just then a marine came inside and informed Full Body that the pirate Jin of Don Krieg's crew had escaped and killed 9 marines. Just then Naruto quickly tackled the marine, and just as he tackled him, a shot was fired. Fortunately for the marine, Naruto was fast enough to save him from the gunshot. The marine thanked him reluctantly, what with being saved by a pirate. The man named Jin took a seat on one of the tables and ordered food. When asked if he had money to pay for it, he pointed his gun at the cook. He was severely beaten by the cook for that, while the other patrons cheered him on. After a few minutes, Luffy entered the room wearing a waiter's outfit and started serving them. Zoro cracked a few jokes at his expense, which Luffy got enraged at. To make Zoro pay, Luffy picked his nose and dropped his booger in Zoro's glass when he wasn't looking. Nami, Usopp, and Naruto were trying to hold themselves from laughing out too loudly so as not to alert Zoro. But it seemed he had caught on what was happening and forced the contents of the glass down Luffy's throat. Nami and Usopp were banging the table whilst laughing, and Naruto had a serene smile on his face. He would miss these antics and them when he separated. Just then the man in the suit came back, got on his knees while holding a rose and started admiring Nami's beauty, and Luffy told them that this man, whose name was Sanji, was their new cook. Luffy and Sanji had a fight amongst themselves, with one saying that he is not their cook while Luffy saying that he refuses to accept him as not his cook. Just then the owner came and dragged both of them to kitchen. It was the afternoon of the 4th day there, and Luffy was still working as a waiter. Usopp and Zoro and Nami were inside, but Naruto went back to the ship. All that eating had made him drowsy, so he went for a nap. Naruto woke up and stretched his arms. Yawning, he got up. That was the best sleep he had in days, he thought. Getting outside on the deck, he was expecting it to be still docked in front of Bartai, but he was surprised to see that the ship was docked by land. He extended his senses to encompass the ship and found out that he was alone on it. Did they leave and forgot to wake me up? He thought. Anyways, he was getting tired of being on the ship. He needed some solid land under his feet now. He got out of the ship and onto the land. He walked for a few minutes and entered what used to be a town, but the strange thing was that it was deserted of any living things and all the houses were upturned. Hey you! Who are you? Naruto Uzumaki, the wandering sage Naruto said, striking a pose. The man who questioned him looked like a mix of human and a fish, like the pirate in the poster that Nami had. Have you seen a suspicious long-nosed boy here? Naruto then noticed Usopp hiding inside the rubble. He was motioning to keep his lips pursed and voicing shhh. Have I? No, I can't say I have, sorry. What are you doing here anyways? Don't you know Arlong-san has forbidden anyone from coming here? Oh, has he? I must apologize, I just arrived here, and I didn't know that. I'll leave now, he said, turning around. Who said you could leave? Once you enter this island, you can't leave. Now do you have 100,000 belly to pay as ransom? The fishman asked. Why would I need to pay ransom? Naruto asked curiously. It's because for you to live, you need to pay up. Now do you have money? He asked, getting irritated with this polite human. I'm afraid I'm quite broke. What would one do in such a situation? Naruto asked, curious to know what would happen. The fishman unhooked the sword strapped to his hip and took a step forward. In that case, you die, he said with glee, and he charged at Naruto. Naruto just caught the sword mid-swing. He applied a little force to the sword and it broke into pieces. Usopp was amazed at this display. Sure, he had heard about his fight with Kuro from Nami, but this hearing about it and seeing it were two different things. It seemed that Naruto wasn't even trying. Unbeknownst to them, two more people were watching this exchange. The first one was a woman with light blue hair and tan skin, and the other was a short young boy. They were watching in horror and one in glee as the blonde man fought the fishman. Back to Naruto, he said, now why would you do that? I believe we were having such a great conversation. Why would you attack me now? Shut up, you stinky human, you dared to fight me. I'll show you the might of fish men. And then he got into a stance that resembled a weird taijutsu stance back on Naruto's home world, and he attempted to punch Naruto in the gut, but Naruto dodged that by sidestepping and then getting behind the fishman, karate chopped him on nape of his neck, effectively driving him unconscious. As soon as he fell to the ground, Usopp came out of the hiding and started dancing around Naruto, seemingly happy that the enemy had been taken care of. Just then the two spectators entered the area. Awesome! You taught that fishman a lesson, the little boy said. You shouldn't have done that. Now when he gets back up, he's going to tell Arlong, and Arlong will tear up this island to look for you, the light-haired woman said. Well, he didn't give me a choice. It was either that or get hurt, and I almost always chose not to get hurt unless there are other circumstances. Turning towards Usopp, he asked, where are the others? I woke up and you were all gone. What, you mean to say that you and Nami didn't plan this? Usopp asked. Huh? Plan what? Naruto asked him back, confused. You know, after you went inside the ship, after a while Nami followed you, and then later Johnny and Yasaka came inside the restaurant saying that Nami had pushed them into the sea and stolen the ship. I thought you and her were in on this. What nonsense. I was feeling drowsy, so I came to the ship for a nap. I just woke up and came here, and then I met the fishman, and you, Naruto told him. We better make ourselves scarce. We don't want to be here when he wakes up. The woman told them. Come with me, I know a place where we can lay low. They followed her outside the village and into the forest. There in the midst of the trees there was a modest house. It felt homely. Surrounding it were tangerine groves with oranges were growing on some of them. She motioned for them to take a seat. You should leave her alone. Let her do what she wants to, blue-haired woman said. I'm sorry, who are you exactly, and why should we leave Nami-chan alone? I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. I'm Nojiko, Nami's sister. Well, that answers only one of our questions. You should leave her alone. Nami won't like you people meddling in her affairs, that's why I'm telling you to leave her alone. Oh, you're her sister? Usopp cried out. For better or worse, she's one of my precious people now, and even if she herself wanted to, she couldn't keep me away from her. I wouldn't say that. She's handled herself quite well for years, and now she's so close to her dream. Please don't meddle in her affairs at this crucial time. I know you defeated that fishman quite easily, but Arlong is on whole another level. You won't be match for him and Nami would lose another friend. She pleaded to him. Naruto wanted to snort at that. Even back on his world, people would be hard-pressed to find a man that could give him a good fight, let alone defeat him, and here Nami's sister thought that this Arlong would defeat him. But he couldn't blame her. It seemed that this Arlong had created a deep-seated fear towards him. What he did to do that Naruto had no idea, but he must have done something horrible. Naruto thought that he would do Nojiko told him for now. If what she said was true, and if it regarded her dream, then he thought he would wait until she needed him. He had a plan in mind. I'm going for a walk. But there are fishmen out there, Naruto. What if they find you? Usopp asked, seemingly concerned. Believe me, Usopp, when I say that they won't find me. Take care and try not to get into any trouble. And with that, Naruto left the house. He's gonna die if he thinks he can defeat Arlong, Nojiko told them. I believe in him. He might not look like it, but he's really strong. He saved my village from pirates, Usopp told her. Naruto first went to the place where he had fought the fishmen. Fortunately for Naruto's plan, he was still knocked out. Biting his thumb with enough force to draw blood, he wrote a blood seal on the fishman's head. One of the characters was kanji for hold. With a few shorthand seals, he activated the seal. Then he dragged the fishman into one of the upturned houses and hid him behind some rubble. Now for the next part, he did a quick hand seal and Naruto was the spitting image of the fishman he just hid. He closed his eyes and a second later they gained orange pigmentations around his eyes. Sensing the place with most chakra signatures, he started walking towards the place. He released the Sannin mode. He could differentiate them because the signatures were on level with academy level students, with 2-3 being Genin level and 1 being Chunin level. He walked for a while and came upon a set of imposing gates. He opened them and entered. Met with a sight that would have made a normal man flinch, Naruto walked forward. There were bodies of unconscious fishmen lying around, some with cuts across their bodies. Naruto didn't need to be a detective to figure out that it was all Zoro's work. He went by the fountain and sat by it. Minutes later, a human and an octopus hybrid came by and started anguishing over his fallen comrades. When he noticed Naruto hinged as a fishman, he came over to him. Maki, who did this? He asked Naruto, enraged. I don't know, I just came here now. I was chasing a human but he disappeared on me. So I came by here. Whoever did this, I'll make them pay, the octo-hybrid told him with determination burning in his eyes. Naruto remained silent. After what seemed like an hour of lollygagging for Naruto, Arlong came by seemingly enraged. He got angrier when he saw the situation of his crew. His other crew members that came with him placated him lest he destroy their base in a fit of rage. Minutes later, Nami came by and she talked with Arlong about something. They were whispering so he couldn't hear them properly, so Naruto went and sat near them. After a while, a group of fishmen came dragging a screaming Usopp, who they tied and set him by the pool that entered the sea. So this is one of the fools who followed you here, hoping to get you back? Arlong asked Nami. She didn't respond, just looked at Usopp. Nami, you don't have to do this. You know Luffy and Naruto can help, just come back with us. Usopp pleaded with her. You truly are a fool. Nami is the kind of woman who will betray even her family for money. Arlong laughed while telling this to Usopp. Naruto, who was observing this, noticed Nami clenching her fist and gritting her teeth. It seemed like she didn't agree with what Arlong said, and neither did Naruto for that matter. Nami, kill him. Show us your loyalty. Arlong commanded her. Gladly, Nami said through her teeth. Nami, don't do this, you're not like this. Please don't do it. Usopp cried out. Just as Naruto was about to act, though he knew Nami would never kill Usopp, these other people would, so as he was about to swoop in and escape with Usopp, Usopp dropped a smoke bomb trying to escape. But just as Naruto relaxed, there was a sound of flesh being stabbed and Usopp was dropped into the pool. He couldn't believe that Nami had done that. She had attacked Usopp. Jumping into the water, he startled the other fishmen. He swam towards where Usopp's dying self should be but found Usopp hastily swimming away. Sensing other fishmen following him, Naruto grabbed Usopp by his waist and created a Rasengan in other hand, which he projected into a beam. 1. And his speed increased enough that he was able to leave the following fishmen in the dust, or in this case bubbles. Naruto and Usopp were on dry land, drying themselves off. When he had brought them onto the land, Usopp was scared of him, the reason being Naruto was still in his disguise. After disengaging the henge, Usopp calmed down considerably. He explained to Naruto that Nami had stabbed her hand and made it look like as if Usopp had been stabbed. Naruto wanted to curse himself for doubting Nami. He felt like he betrayed her for some reason. Anyways, his cover was blown, so he couldn't go to Arlong Park again. not unless he wanted to fight his way through, which he didn't have any qualms about. That's when they saw a flying boat moving at high speed towards them. Naruto grabbed Usopp and they were out of the way in an instant. The ship went flying over the land and into the forest. They decided to see who it was, though Naruto knew only one person capable of such antics. They found Luffy, the cook Sanji, and Yasaka on the broken ship. Just as they were getting out of the ship, Zoro arrived asking them what took so long. Just as they regrouped, a frantic Johnny came running by. Nami Aniki killed Usopp Aniki, she stabbed high. Johnny's face was horror-struck, his mouth agape and his face pale white. It was almost as if he had seen a ghost. He was looking at Usopp and was trying really hard to form words. Oi, Usopp is alive, Zoro told Johnny, who was still reeling over from the shock. You guys should really leave Nami alone, Nojiko called out to them coming out of the forest. And I already told you that I won't do that, Naruto told her. Sanji's eyes were love-struck and he started proclaiming about her beauty and his love to her. I'll tell you why she is doing what she is doing, but after that you must go. Luffy and Zoro went away, citing that they didn't find Nami's past interesting. Naruto too wanted to leave, but he needed to know why she was with Arlong. Soon, Nojiko told them about how they were adopted by Belmir, and how they lived a happy life until Arlong came. She told them about his demand of 50,000 belly for children, and 100,000 belly for adults to live every month. How their mother only had 100,000 belly but chose to sacrifice her life for her children to live freely, and how he murdered her in front of her kids. How he kidnapped Nami after seeing her cartography skills and made her work for him. How Nami made a deal with Arlong that if she gathered 100 million belly she could buy off Kokoyashi village from him. At the end of the story, Naruto's blood was boiling. How that man could treat human lives as property, to be sold. How could he make them pay for their own lives? How dare he make Nami's life so miserable? In his whole life, this was the second time Naruto truly hated someone for what they had done. First was Sasuke and now this man, Arlong. He was about to go, and make him pay when Nami came by. You people should just go. Don't you realize that I was just acting to get your treasure? Why are you meddling in my affairs? Just leave, I don't want to see your faces anymore. Arlong is coming to kill you, so you better go quickly. Nami told them. It was clear to Naruto that she was on the verge of tears. He wanted to hug her, tell her it'll be okay, and comfort her in any way possible. He couldn't bear to see her so vulnerable, but he chose to do nothing. If he meddled in her affairs now, she would just hate him needlessly. He needed her permission to do what he wanted to. She went ahead towards the village after her monologue. He followed her, but when he realized that she was going back home, he stopped. She needed some time alone, he thought. There was a sound of a gunshot, and Naruto woke up with a start. He didn't realize that he had drifted into sleep. Birds started scattering from the trees and he could hear villagers rushing towards Nami's house. He followed them. There was Nojiko there, bleeding from her stomach, but she seemed okay. Nami was nowhere in sight. Lay down, I'll heal it, he told her. The villagers were surrounding her. As she laid down, he tore the piece of her t-shirt where the blood had appeared. He brought his palms over her wound and a green glow started being emitted from his hands. First he got the bullet out, and then worked on closing the wound. Within a second the wound was gone, as if it was never there. She was shocked that her wound had been healed easily. She was sure that it was going to leave a scar. What happened here? He asked. That bastard Nezumi, he's a marine under Arlong's paycheck. He came here and started searching the house for illegally stashed money. He said Nami was illegally hoarding money. When he couldn't find anything in the house, he started upturning the tangerine groves. Nami attacked him, so he shot at her, but I intervened and took the shot. Nami went to Arlong to talk to him about this. I think Arlong went back on his deal. I see, was all what Naruto said. Take care of yourself, I'll go look for Nami, Naruto then said. As Naruto was walking back to Arlong Park, he met Nami halfway. She looked spent and was crying. She came to a stop when she saw him, and turned her head around, seemingly ashamed of herself. Nami, talk to me. What happened in there? He asked gently. Nami, tell me what happened so I can beat the shit out of him. Why do you see care? She asked between sobs. Damn it, Nami, how can you ask that? Of course I care. Believe it or not, you're one of my precious people, my nakama, our nakama. Just as I and your friends would endanger our life for you, I believe you will too. Back where I come from, it's called the Will of Fire. It's obvious when you saved Usopp at the risk of your cover being blown in front of Arlong. Learn to rely on your friends, because I don't know where I would be if not for that handful of friends that kept me going. So say the word and it will be Arlong's downfall. I don't condone violence, but that doesn't mean I won't rely on it when necessary. Why would you do this for me? I'm just some girl you had the bad luck of meeting. Are you wearing earplugs? Did you not hear what I was saying just now? It doesn't matter to me if I just met you or met you a lifetime ago. When people need my help to free themselves from their demons, I would gladly provide it. I know you live in fear of Arlong. I know what he did to you, so please let me free you from your troubles. Believe in me. Then please help me, she said, breaking down in front of him. He gave her a comforting hug and raised her up. And together they walked towards Arlong Park, towards One Fishman's doom. As they walked, Naruto's mind was mired in the past. He remembered his childhood with his Kakashi and Ai and Jiraiya Jiji. The good times he had spent with his friends. He remembered his first sensei, Asuma, and his first C-rank mission. He remembered his first teammates, Ino and Shikamaru. The time when Ino almost died on their first B-rank mission, and when he met his clan member Karen. He remembered the Chunin exams and the invasion that followed. He remembered within his heart the lives that were lost. He was reminded of their mission to Wave, how oppressed the people there were. How Gato worked to rip them of their livelihood. His first kill out of hatred was when he killed Gato. He could count on his single hand when he had felt that kind of overwhelming hatred. First was Gato, second was Orochimaru for what he did to his village, and third was Sasuke because he had killed her just to get and rise out of Naruto, and now was the fourth time, and the hatred was directed at Arlong. He didn't even know the man, but he felt so much anger at him. He had single-handedly enslaved a village, holding them under his thumb, and then he had gone back on his word, a deal that his friend had made with him. A deal because of which she was hated by the villagers for the very fact of saving them. A deal because of which she didn't have childhood and for which she toiled every living second of her life. A deal which didn't allow her the luxury of friendship, and when she was so close to fulfilling it, he went back on it. Now Naruto had grown desensitized to killings over his life. He had grown wise over the years, but when it came to his friend's suffering, it was like a dam of anger broke inside of him. He couldn't hold back now. His atrocities were too much. In one of the worlds he visited, it was said that when the atrocities of evil men became too much, God himself would incarnate on Earth as a human or send one of his angels to cleanse the planet. Naruto now felt as if he was that angel, for the pot of sins of Arlong had been overflowing. Now he felt as if he was Death himself, destroyer of worlds. He would show the evil a reason to fear him. He would make a symbol out of himself. As they reached the looming doors of Arlong Park, they noticed two figures sitting there with the swords blocking the way. "What are you guys doing here?" Naruto asked them. "We heard about Namianiki's story, so we came to fight Arlong ourselves," Johnny told him. "We got beaten, so we are here to stop people weaker than us to enter here." "You idiots, how did you think that you could defeat him? Even Zoro would have a hard time with him," Naruto told them. "Now move, I've got a man to kill." "I'm sorry, Naruto Aniki, but we think only Luffy Aniki can beat him. I've seen what he can do, plus we haven't seen you in action," Yasaka told him. "I'll assure you that I'm perfectly capable of taking Arlong on. Now move." "We can't do that, Naruto Aniki. If you die, how will we face Luffy Aniki?" Johnny told him again, denying him entry. Naruto knew that this meant good, but he was losing his patience now, so emitting a small dose of killing intent, he again asked them to move. "Sure, Naruto Aniki, go right ahead." They both complied with him. Pushing the door with enough force to blast it off its hinges, Naruto entered with Nami meekly following. Arlong had been eating when the door was blasted off its hinges. Arlong had dispatched the bounty hunters who attacked them with ease. Now he was interrupted again. In walked some blonde man and Nami with him. He was wearing an orange overcoat over blue t-shirt with bandages on his arms. "I thought I told you to go back to collecting money, didn't I, Nami?" "Go back, this is your last warning. You will never be free, forever mine you will be. I refuse to work with someone like you." "Oh, so you grew a backbone, did you?" Walking towards her, "Let me break it," he said. Naruto held up his hand. "You won't be doing anything such as that." "And who are you?" "Another one of the fools who's following her like a lost puppy. The one who's going to end you." "Shahahaha. You crack funny jokes for a human." "Laugh all you want, your end is near," Naruto said cryptically. Arlong along with his fishman crew laughed at this. Turning back, Arlong went back to his seat. "Why should I sully my hands with your blood when one of my men can do this?" "Chew, handle him. Make sure he dies and then teach Nami a lesson, seems like she's in need of one." Just as the tall fishman was walking towards Naruto, a voice was heard. "Kaya Kabashi, Gunpowder Star, A projectile came flying from outside the door and hit the fisherman Chu right in the face and created a small explosion around his face. Captain Usopp is here to save the day, Usopp said with confidence though his legs were shaking intensively. Kurubi, you take care of the blonde man. I'll kill the one who dared attack me. And with that Chu went after Usopp. Though before he could get past Naruto, Naruto caught him by clothes. I believe I'm your opponent. Oh please, like we need more than one person to deal with you, Pew man. Suit yourself. Turning towards Usopp he asked, can you take care of him? Of course, who do you think I am? Usopp said stuttering. Okay, give him hell Usopp, he said, giving Usopp a thumbs up. Usopp hightailed out of there with Chu in pursuit. Naruto faced Kurubi. He looked like a hybrid between human and a stingray. He got into a weird taijutsu stance, facing Naruto. You're only going to get one chance, so make it count. Don't act all high and might, you human. I'll show you the might of fisherman karate. Rushing forward, to the normal eye he disappeared, but to Naruto he was moving in slow motion. He attacked with his fist aimed at Naruto's gut, which he dodged by handstanding using his head as a base, effectively getting behind him. He then punched Kurubi in the back of his head, which sent him flying into a wall, breaking it, and then flying ahead right into the Zoro who had just arrived on the scene. Mind where you send your opponents flying, will you? Zoro called out. Arlong and his men were shocked because after Arlong, Kurubi was the strongest here and this man had sent him flying with one punch. The fisherman who Naruto had met when he was disguised as Maki approached him. I'll be your opponent, you won't last in front of my Rokuryu. Hachan called out. Who a swordsman, Naruto, I'll fight him, Zoro told Naruto as he dusted off his clothes and approached them. Be my guest, Zoro, Naruto said as he walked back to Nami. Are you sure, Naruto? Zoro was injured before he came here, Nami asked him. I'm sure Zoro will be fine, Nami-chan. After all, he is our nakama. And if worse get to worse, I'll intervene. But Naruto didn't need to intervene. Within minutes Hachan was down, and Zoro came out of the fight only with some scratches. Now Arlong, do you see how helpless your cause is? You are destined to lose either by my hands or my friends. It's because of your arrogance is this your downfall. Shahahaha. You defeated one of my crewmates and expect me to cower in fear. The difference between their strength and mine is too big. I'll show you the true strength of fishmen now, boy. Arlong got up from his chair. I'll give you 5 shots at me. We'll see if you can land even one. You see, little boy, Nami is mine. She is mine to take and mine to use as I see fit. You'll never be able to use her as well as I can. Hearing the constant use of word use made Naruto grit his teeth. Walking towards Arlong, Naruto started saying, you know your problem. You think she is a property to be used. The reason she doesn't belong with you is Naruto threw a right hook across his face which sent him flying towards the pool. Disappearing from his position, as Arlong's body slowed down, Naruto appeared below him, standing on water. Hitting him with a swift upper kick to the gut which sent him in the vertical direction, he said, because Nami again disappearing and reappearing just behind him. Our precious, the bandages on his arms started unfurling and began to attach themselves to Arlong. When they had been fully attached, he pile-drived Arlong with his head positioned below. He lastly said, Nakama? And they went rotating towards the water with Arlong's face set to take the brunt of the force when they touched water. The pair hit the water with extreme force, splashing the nearby Zoro and Hachan from the impact. As the water cascaded back down from the splash, Naruto emerged walking towards the building, walking on water, oblivious to everybody's shocked stares. He assumed he had put the fisherman down from the impact. He had underestimated the fisherman's resilience. Years of combat experience had granted Naruto a danger sense, so as speak, and now it was tingling. Quickly turning around, he found Arlong flying towards him out of water with his nose aimed at Naruto's heart. Shark on darts, he yelled as he flew towards him. Naruto, for his part, got over his shock and ducked, leading Arlong to pierce the concrete wall. He was stuck there though, intending on finishing this fight once and for all and destroy Arlong's symbol of enslavement, the park. It took only a moment, and Naruto's eyes had become golden with horizontal pupils. He raised his hand above his head and formed a fist. That's when it happened. Golden particles started to shimmer and form in the air, taking the shape of a big fist, big enough to easily crush the building. Naruto spread out his fingers and closed them again into a fist. The golden hand mimicked the movement. Naruto could feel the familiar presence of all the Straw Hat Pirates, Sans, Sanji, and Luffy. The villagers were watching. It seemed Usopp had come back. Arlong had managed to free himself and was now looking where everybody was pointing and murmuring at, the golden fist. For the first time in his life, Arlong felt fear. Shouting out Tenmei, Heaven's Decree, 1, Naruto brought his fist down and like God himself was with him, the golden fist came down with it. It came down on the building, crashing it to the ground. It smashed Arlong along with it. The story when told to future generation would be twisted as God himself smashed Arlong Park with his fist. Not so far away. Luffy and Sanji had been going towards Arlong Park from Nami's house when they heard a crashing sound. They started running towards there. Naruto stood in front of rubble, waiting to see if Arlong would rise again. Truth be told, this was the first time he had used this technique ever since discovering his ability to form sage dust, too. The atmosphere was silent for moments, then slowly but surely people's voices could be heard, whispers at first, then full-on shouts of joy. When Naruto turned around, Nami was crying tears of joy. The Straw Hats joined in the cheering of Zoro, who defeated Hatchan, of Usopp, who defeated Chu, and last but not the least Naruto, who defeated Arlong. He walked towards the villagers, who were embroiled in happiness, and past them. He walked past the Straw Hats and towards the ship. This was his first kill in a century. While he was mostly averse to violence these days, today he used it wholeheartedly. He had felt his inhibitions being broken. He felt more bloodthirsty when he attacked Arlong, more out of control. He didn't trust himself around his friends right now, at least not right this moment, so he walked to find some solitude. Times like this he missed both Karamas the most. He missed their advice, however sarcastic it might have sounded sometimes. Maybe he should pay the Bijus a visit, see if they would like to come here with, not that he needed their help, but at least he wouldn't be alone on this adventure then. He went back into the forest intending to be alone for a while. He had decided that he would on next island start his next adventure. He had intended it now, but he wanted to spend some more time with them. Unaware of the party that had started in Kokoyashi and surrounding villages, Naruto drifted off into sleep. He seemed to do that a lot nowadays. Nezumi had, after Arlong's defeat, went to the now destroyed Arlong Park to confiscate Arlong's treasure and cash in his bounty, but had been beaten back by that Straw Hat boy and that orange-haired girl. What was her name? Nami. Yes, Nami. His cash cow had been defeated, and now he had been embarrassed in front of his subordinates. He intended to make them pay, especially the Straw Hat boy, Monkey D. Luffy. The defeat of Arlong would put a considerable dent on his income. Set up a call to headquarters. He commanded one of his marines. Yes, sir. Marine headquarters. Brand New was a tall, tan man with dark green curly hair, sideburns pointing upwards and large lips. His eyes were always obscured by a pair of sunglasses. He was sporting a marine white overcoat with yellow epaulets on his shoulders. It signified his position as Commodore. Even though he was a low-ranking officer, he had quite an authority in the headquarters. He was the one who set bounties on pirates. Pura 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 pura. Someone pick up the damn Den Mushi. Yes, sir. Kacha. Mushy Mushy, I need to speak to Commodore Brand New. The voice from the Den Mushi said. I'm here, speak, Brand New commanded. Sir, I'm Nezumi, captain of 16th Branch, East Blue. I would request you to set a high bounty on one person, Monkey D. Luffy. He single-handedly defeated and destroyed Arlong Park and then attacked me and my subordinates. Before this he alone made a marine ship sink that had come to help the villagers after receiving he exaggerated Luffy's crimes, putting Arlong's blame on Luffy. I'm sending you a photo of his that our photographer took. Acknowledged, he said, putting down the phone. Sir, the photo Captain Nezumi said he sent has arrived. One of the marines stated. Good, set the bounty at him 30 million belly. That should put him on notorious list. Brand New called out. Anyone brazen enough to attack the absolute justice that Marines represent should be termed a dangerous man, he thought. When Nezumi got the preview of the wanted poster, he couldn't stop himself from laughing. Shichikachichi, now that boy will know not to raise his hands against his betters. By the time Naruto got back to the town, everyone were passed out on the ground. Walking through the river of unconscious people, Naruto went and got himself a drink. He could see that they had partied hard. Getting a drink, he sat by a sleeping Luffy. You know I'm gonna miss you guys, but I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Arg. What am I gonna do? I don't even know where to start. Niku, Luffy said with drool running down his face. It seemed even in dreamland he thought of meat. Naruto wondered if he talked about ramen in his sleep, though knowing him he probably did. Naruto sensed someone approaching him. It was Nami. She was in a low-cut dark pink top and denim shorts. She came and sat by his side. So you're really going to leave us? She sounded despondent. Yeah, but it's not like I'm going away for good. We'll meet again, you'll see. I'll miss you. I would rather you didn't leave us. Come with us, we'll have many adventures and lots of fun. Nami tried to convince him. Believe me, in an ideal world I would have been with you guys in a heartbeat, but this is not an ideal world, and I once promised my godfather that I would bring an end to conflict. Well, can't you do that as a pirate? She asked innocently, cocking her head to right. Tell you what, after I feel I know about this world enough, I'll join you guys. How does that sound? Naruto asked her. Really? She asked, proud of herself on convincing Naruto to join the gang. Really? He said. But how will you get to us? It'll take a long time to reach us if you're not already with us. She asked. I was getting to that. Hold out your right arm. He told her. Got a tattoo, eh? He commented after seeing her new tattoo. It was a cross between a pinwheel and an orange. Yeah, I wanted nothing to do with Arlong, so I asked Doctor to modify it. Looks nice on you, he complimented. Thanks, she mumbled it out. Just below the tattoo, Naruto touched her arm and she felt a stinging sensation like needles pricking her skin. After a moment it was over and there were a set of indecipherable kanji written on her arm. It was in conjunction with her tattoo. That will allow me to find you wherever you are, and reach you almost instantaneously. Though it's in a development stage, so I can only use it once and then it will disappear. I'll know when you are in danger or distress. So I'll come to your aid when needed. It's a promise of a lifetime. She seemed happy then. Leaning over, she gave him a kiss on his whiskered cheek, leaving him flushing red. Though whether it was because of the sake or because of the kiss, no one would ever know. What was that for? He asked, flustered. That was being there when I needed someone the most. And with that she left, swaying her hips, not that Naruto noticed. He was now back to thinking about his goal. He couldn't sleep that night. It was the morning after and most of the people were hungover, sans Zoro, Nami and Naruto. After receiving many thanks from the villagers and several propositions from girls, Naruto and the Mugiwara pirates had boarded the ship. The money that Nami has collected over the years along with Arlong's bounty had been given over to Genzo, the leader of Kokoyashi village, so that he could use the money help rehabilitate the village. Naruto was on the ship, waiting for the others to board it. Once everybody was on the ship, they began to bid their goodbyes to the villagers. Everyone trickled inside the dining room after the ship had set sail. Now would be a good time to set sail to Grand Line, Nami said, getting everybody's attention. No, we need to get some meat first, and I want to see that place. I agree with Captain Namichuan. As the cook of the ship, it's my duty to ensure that we are properly stocked, Sanji said. What place are you talking about, Luffy? Naruto asked curiously. The place where Gold Roger, was born. Logue Town, Luffy said with unusual seriousness. Oh, that suits my needs too. Maybe I'll find a ship to board there. Do you really have to go through? Usopp asked. Yes, Usopp, I have to see the world, but as I promised Nami, I will come join you guys once I know enough, he reassured Usopp. Logue Town. Captain Smoker was a young man with white hair who always seemed to have a cigar in his mouth. He admired Fleet Admiral Sengoku for his absolute justice, but he didn't follow it. He followed his own code of justice. Smoker was the head of Marines stationed in Logue Town. He had chosen this place because it was hub for pirates who wanted to enter Grand Line. Here he set traps for them and captured them. East Blue was one of the safest places in the world with the least amount of strong pirates. Today was a good day. He had captured 3 pirate crews without any hitch. Smoker Taishu, the new bounties have arrived. Should I bring them here or post it directly on notice board? Bring it here, I'll see to it myself, Smoker ordered. Hi. After a moment, the Marine brought a bunch of wanted posters. He went through them till his eyes fell on one poster. The bounty was 30 million belly and the picture was of a laughing boy with a straw hat. He had the highest bounty currently in East Blue. He looked over it for a second and then went back to riffling thought the posters. After a while he got bored of sitting in the room and went out for a walk. Walking outside, he bumped into a girl who was eating ice cream. The bump resulted in the ice cream being smeared all across his pants. He stared at his pants, then at the girl, and then again at the pants, and at the girl again. Just as it seemed that he was going to explode on the girl, he bent down to her level and the girl flinched. You should be careful where you walk, child. Instead of me it might have been an unsavory pirate. The girl looked like she was about to cry. Here, have another ice cream on me, he said, handing her some money. She smiled at this and ran away. In the crowd, one blonde man thought maybe not all Marines are bad. 3 hours ago. Going merry. Tag, you're it. Luffy laughed out as he tagged Naruto. Luffy, how many times must I tell you I'm not playing tag with you and Usopp? Come on, it's your last day with us, at least enjoy it. Usopp called out as he ran away from Naruto. Okay, I'll bite. Ready or not, here I come. And he started giving a chase to Luffy. He was chasing them at playful speed because if he used his normal speed this game would be over in a second. Nami was watching them, enjoying the time. Nami-chuan, I brought you iced tea to drink, Sanji said in a sing-song voice. Thank you, Sanji-kun, Nami said as she took the cup from the tray. You bastards, come here and get your drinks. He called out to the boys playing tag, his demeanor changed. Thanks, Sanji. I was getting thirsty from all the running, Naruto told him. Sanji didn't reply. He was busy ogling at Nami. Naruto smiled. Sanji reminded him of a more gentlemanly Jiraiya. They sat there drinking tea while Naruto explained to them the usefulness of the seal he had placed in Nami. Everybody was amazed that such a technique existed, and wanted to learn more, but Naruto told them later. They had arrived at Log Town and decided to split up and get necessary things back to the ship. Sanji volunteered to take Nami, but she had already decided to go with Naruto by them, and him a denden mushi so they could keep in contact. Sanji seemed depressed at hearing that with a dark cloud hanging over his head while he was drawing circles in the dirt with his fingers. What's so good about him? He seemed to be mumbling again and again. After they had split up, Nami Fist took him to the communications center and bought themselves a denden mushi. She then tuned theirs and his to the same frequency and told him to take care of it. Then she dragged him to a clothes shop and made him sit and watch as she tried on different clothes. Nami-chan, I think you've had enough of clothes. Let's go eat something, he said as his stomach growled. Okay, after this one, this is the last, I promise, Nami told him. 30 minutes later, Naruto dragged himself out of the shop with his hands. He had been spent after 2 hours watching Nami try out clothes. They were walking towards one of the many cafes littered on the sides of the road. While going there, they witnessed the heartwarming scene of a Marine giving a girl whose ice cream had been spilled some money. The name of the cafe was Cafe Coffee Day. They took a seat and ordered a sandwich and coffee. So Naruto, what's the plan now? What are you going to do now after we leave? Well, I was thinking of staying in this town for a while, then going to Grand Line maybe, or visiting another one of the seas. It's not all planned yet, Naruto told her. We'll miss you. I think Usopp will miss you the most. I will miss you guys too, mostly Luffy and his antics. The way Nami's nose scrunched up, it seemed she was expecting another answer. People who play with a girl's heart should be kicked by a donkey and die, she mumbled. Naruto, who heard the last part, said, I agree. Baka, she called him. Huh. What I did, I just agreed with you. Just as Naruto was about to speak, he sensed a large chakra signature arrive on the island. It could easily rival that of a Kaiges, and just as he arrived on the island, a freak storm approached the island. The wind started howling rapidly, and rain showers started. Nami, get back to the ship and wait for everyone. The seriousness in his voice made him comply. She nodded and quickly went away. Naruto discreetly sent a shadow clone to help her if needed. He started walking towards the source of the energy, never minding the storm. He looked like a badass with the wind blowing against him and his cloak billowing in the storm. The source was moving around and it stopped. Naruto reached the position. He saw Luffy being pinned down by the same marine he saw earlier that day. White smoke was coming out of his body. He was about to knock Luffy out, and just as Naruto was about to intervene, a figure hooded in green cloak arrived holding the marine's hand. And then a wild gust of wind blew, and the marine was knocked around. This gave Luffy the chance to escape. Looking at Naruto, who appeared right in front of him, he gave him a thumbs up and received one in return. Lightning flashed, and Naruto saw the face of the hooded figure. It had a tribal tattoo on the left side of face in red ink. In the next flash of lightning, the man in hood disappeared after giving Naruto a confident grin. Naruto followed him until they were on the coast of the island. Hey! Why did you help Luffy out? Naruto asked. Who am I to deny a man his destiny? The hooded man said cryptically, though he was surprised that Naruto could keep up with him. Who are you anyways, and why do you feel so much like Luffy? Huh! I'm Monkey D. Dragon, and he is my son, said the man. Naruto was surprised that Luffy was his son. He pegged Luffy's father to be as carefree as his son, but he was not what he expected, but it was too early to judge. And pray tell me, who are you? The hooded man asked. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, The man who will bring peace, Naruto said confidently. The man's grin stretched impossibly wide. Interesting. I believe we may have something in common, Uzumaki-san. I have a proposition for you. Interested? And with another flash of lightning, they both disappeared. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the man who will bring peace, Naruto said confidently. The man's grin stretched impossibly wide. Interesting. I believe we may have something in common, Uzumaki-san. I have a proposition for you. Interested? And with another flash of lightning, they both disappeared. The man was fast as though he didn't have anything on Naruto. They appeared on a nearby cliff under a large oak tree, safe from the rains. So, why do you have a proposition for me? Naruto asked. Well, I believe that a man with your morals would find what we do interesting. You see, my spies have reported to me of your feats. You single-handedly defeated a notorious pirate and destroyed his base, all for what? Because you believed that what he was doing was atrocious. We heard you did the same to another pirate called Buggy. We have need of people with moral compasses like yours. Dragon told him, his grin never leaving the face. Well, I didn't do it just because of my views towards the world. I did it for my friend too, and she needed it. Naruto told him, what do you do anyways? He further asked. I am the part of an organization that seeks to overthrow the world government. He simply said, as if that was the most obvious thing in the world. Huh. And you expect me to help you? Take away the only semblance of peace this world might have. Why would I do that? Naruto asked skeptically. You could help me, if not now then in future. When you will see the true face of the world government, you will help us. He said cryptically yet again. Wait, what do you mean true face of the world government? And stop talking so cryptically, explain to me what you mean and I might just help you. Naruto sort of commanded him. Dragon was taken aback by this tone. That tone was that of an experienced leader and made him want to comply with him, but he held his ground. Tell me what you know about the world government, he asked him. Well, they are the government that keeps peace of the world. They help keep law and order, I guess, Naruto said as putting a hand under his chin. So naive, so innocent. Once I was the same, believed the world to be black and white. Believed the Marines were good, the world government our ally. Then I came out of my little shell that I had created. Saw the injustice done to people by world government, saw its ignorance to anything not affecting their image. Saw them on Badarilla trying to kill an innocent unborn baby just because his father was a pirate. They massacred a whole island just because a group was researching their past. Destroyed the whole island. Only one soul managed to escape and she was an 8-year-old kid. They made her life a living hell. What more do you need to know about the world government's atrocities against the innocent? Dragon finished talking. For a full minute there was silence. Naruto was mulling over the things he heard, then he spoke. Well, all that sounds bad, but as you said, the world isn't all black and white. Giving Dragon a stern look, he criticized, Look, I don't know you. Perhaps you will be correct about the world government being corrupt. But I sense you're no saint either. Continuing, he divulged. Back where I came from, there was an organization whose goal was world domination, but even then, some people were there just because they were misled. Hell, the whole organization existed because someone twisted its goal of peace into that of world domination. So what I am saying is I'm not ready to accept an organization as evil just because you say so. I'll see for myself how bad it really is and then decide whether to help you or find my own path. Naruto finished talking. So be it. See for yourself, but marks my words that you should come to me when you realize how misguided your attempt was, he said matter-of-factly as lightning flashed ominously behind him, darkening his face. Fine, I will. I'll see what happens as I journey these oceans. Who knows, perhaps you'll be right. In every organization there is darkness after all, and I know that from experience. Naruto sighed. What do you mean you know from experience? Where exactly are you from? What is this organization you keep talking about? Why do I not know about it? Dragon blurted. Monkey D. Dragon was a calm and patient man, but this boy in front of him was an enigma. He came out of nowhere one day and was now acting like a war veteran. He had the aura of a leader and a commander, was only a kid. All these things combined made him lose his cool. What was this organization he was talking about? It doesn't concern you, not yet, Naruto concluded. Now, the question that remains is how you will get into contact with us. If your travels lead you to the same answer as the one I have reached, then you'll need a way to reach us. How will you do that? I know, he said as he rummaged under his cloak. He pulled out a tri-pronged kunai out of his pocket. Keep this somewhere in your base, safe, and don't scratch those seals. Basically, don't try to have it analyzed, you would regret it. It will allow me to get to you quite quickly, Naruto told him. "Ok," he said skeptically, but kept it nevertheless. "So what's the plan now, kid?" Dragon asked Naruto. "I am thinking of joining the Marines. I've already seen one side of the world with pirates, might as well do some of that with Marines. I'm thinking of joining that Smoky Marines group. Let's hope he didn't see me give Luffy the thumbs up." "Well, all the best. You chose quite a nice captain though. From what I hear, Smoker is a good man, has his own sense of justice, in a good way I must say," Dragon told him as he picked his ear. "Well, from what I saw he was unlike any other Marines I saw. Mind you, I've only seen one Marine and he was quite corrupt," Naruto said solemnly. "Well, Kozo, I must go. It was nice talking with you. I'm looking forward to working with you in future." And he disappeared with the next flash of lightning. Naruto didn't give him chase this time. He went back to the town. The storm was receding. Citizens of the city were doing their best to overcome the damage the storm had caused. You could see people helping other people. A little kid crying because he couldn't find his parents, and then a woman consoling him. Another man giving the kid some fruits from his fruit stand. A few other people helping a man trapped under a collapsed roof. Naruto went over there to help them. Mustering their strength, they managed to lift the roof enough for the man to escape. Naruto could have done it single-handedly, but he didn't want to attract attention. He saw a woman searching for something on the floor, glasses they were. He picked them up and went over to her. "Here." He handed them to her. She was wearing a colorful shirt with a waist-length blue leather coat. Thanks for helping me." She made her gratitude known. "'Twas nothing, fair lady," Naruto said chivalrously, which was very unlike him. She giggled at his. Kami knew what was with people with glasses finding his jokes funny. "I'm Tashigi," she curtsied and said, playing along with his joke. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, man who wants to join the Fair Knights of the Sea," Naruto continued. "Oh, you want to join the Marines?" "Yeah, I was thinking of joining them, but I don't know where to start. By any chance do you know where I can join them?" Naruto asked. "Well, you're in luck. I'm the Master Chief Petty Officer of the base here," Tashigi said proudly. "Wow. That sounds pettily important position." "Well, it's the 13th highest rank in Marines. It's pretty boring here though, but I heard Smoker Taisha say that we are sailing to Grand Line in a few days' time," she told him. "So what do I have to do to join Marines? I don't want some boring position like chore boy or something," Naruto told her. "There will be a physical fitness test, and if you pass, you can take a combat test after which captain will determine your position. Don't worry, I'll put in a good word for you, though I doubt he will be partial towards you." Tashigi gave him the information. "Oh, I see, so when can I take the test?" he asked. "It's quite late now, so tomorrow morning would be best. Meet me here again tomorrow at 9 and I'll take you to the office," she said. "Thanks, Tashigi-san. It's the least I could do for helping me in this storm." Naruto had met Tashigi the next day and passed both the tests with flying colors. After an additional aptitude test, Naruto had been given the position of Chief Petty Officer under the command of Tashigi and Smoker. Tashigi and Smoker and a few other Marines were to set sail for Grand Line in a day's time. Since Naruto was a new recruit, he wasn't allowed in Grand Line until they deemed him ready enough to face the perils of Grand Line. Naruto had been given a uniform, but he chose to wear his own clothes with the sage coat with marine cap on his head. He was bored for the day and would be until they set sail. Looking for something fun to do, he went to explore the island. His marine cap gave him recognition everywhere he went. People would smile at him and little kids would wave at him. This felt nice. It reminded him of how people would treat him back home. He was walking through the seedier part of town when he heard what sounded like a little girl screaming. Naruto immediately followed after the voice. There were two gruff-looking men dragging a blonde little girl into a nearby warehouse. "Unhand me, you filth. When Papa finds out about this, he will kill you. Stop acting like an Ojusama brat. We are doing this because your father captured our friend. We will have our revenge," the man with a cross-shaped scar on his chin said. "Hey! Leave the girl alone," Naruto shouted at them. Noticing him, the two men visibly stiffened. Turning back to look at him, they relaxed. It's only one Marine, they thought. He wouldn't be a match for them. After all, they had bounties of 13 and 14 million respectively, and oh how wrong they were. Taking out a knife and placing it against the girl's throat, they warned him, "Marine, don't come any closer. We'll spill her blood if you do." Naruto backed down a little, then the one with blue hair asked the scarred man, "What if he calls for backup? We should deal with him before that." "You're right, deal with him," the scarred man told his partner. "Why should I do sully my hands with a measly Marine? you deal with him. I'll take good care of the brat," he said, emphasizing good. Whilst they were fighting amongst them, Naruto had approached them. Within the span of time it took for both of them to blink, they were on the ground, knocked out on the ground courtesy of Naruto's fists meeting their guts with force. The little girl had been on the verge of crying after the pirate pulled out knife was looking at Naruto with amazement. "You okay, little girl?" he asked her. Truth be told, she looked like one of the Ojo-samas he had the luck of escorting. She was blonde with blue eyes, she had a dark green ribbon on top of her head, and was wearing a light green dress. "What's your name?" Tried asking her to calm her down because she was in hysterics. "Look, I might not look like it, but I'm a Marine, so it's okay to tell me your name." "See, Carol, it's Carol," she mumbled. "I want my papa," she demanded from him, taking a 180-degree turn, changing her demeanor. After scratching the back of his head unsurely about regarding what protocol dictated, he decided to look for her papa. Hi, we'll look for your papa, but first let's report these men responsible for kidnapping you back to the base, then we'll look for your papa. Okay? Naruto asked gently. Okay, she agreeing, chirping. He held out his hand to her, which she grabbed, and they walked hand in hand. They almost passed for siblings if not for Naruto's one raven-colored eye. He even got her an ice cream. "So do you have any idea why they kidnapped you?" Naruto inquired. "I don't know, I guess Papa captured their friend and they wanted revenge because of that," she confessed. "Is your dad a Marine too?" Naruto queried. "No, well, Papa was a Marine sniper before, but he left. Now he is a bounty hunter." "What were you doing when they took you?" Naruto asked as he looked around. "I was looking for goggles for Papa, since Papa gave the one I picked for him before to a long-nosed pirate boy." "Oh, by any chance his name was Usopp?" Naruto asked curiously. "Yes. How did you know?" she asked, surprised. "Well, he is my friend, you see." That's when Naruto realized his blunder. He had just admitted that a pirate was his friend. Before he could think of anything, Carol asked. "But aren't you a Marine? How can you be friend with a pirate?" "Well, before I decided to be a Marine, I met them and we had adventures together. So that's how he became my friend. Could you do me a favor? Can you not tell anyone about this? I could probably get in trouble for having a pirate friend," Naruto asked of her. "Sure, you saved me, so that's the least I can do, right?" Carol assured him. As they were walking towards Marine Base, he was spotted by Tashigi. Coming over to them, she spotted Carol and was confused. Why was Naruto holding a kid's hand while she was eating ice cream? "Hey Naruto, who is she? Your sister?" Tashigi asked. He laughed and replied, "No, Tashigi-san, she was being kidnapped by pirates and I walked in on them, so I helped her out. By the way, could you send some Marines to get the 2 pirates I tied up there? They are at the warehouse by East Coast." Sushiro said unsurely, pulling out a mini den mushi from her pocket. She asked some Marines to take care of them. "Where are you taking her, Naruto?" she asked. "Well, now that I've reported those men, I guess I'll help her look for her father," he told her. "Can I help? I just finished my packing for tomorrow's journey," she offered. "Sure, the more the merrier, I guess," he said. As they were walking around, Naruto asked her father's name. "Edward, Papa's name is Edward Masterson," she said as she licked her ice cream. "Masterson, where have I heard that?" she mumbled. "You know of her father?" Naruto asked. "No, but I've heard that name somewhere." It was afternoon now and all of them were famished, so they chose to eat in a nearby cafe. It was the same chain of cafes Naruto and Nami had eaten at. An old lady waitress came by to take their order. Her hair were gray, but she looked beautiful in a mature way. "What would be your orders?" "I'll have 2 sandwiches and a tea." Naruto gave his order. "I'll have one of those," she said, pointing at the board cut out for special in-house burger. Carol said politely. "I'll have the same in Naruto, but only 1 sandwich," Tashigi ordered. "I'll have it here in a moment," the waitress told them as she moved towards the kitchen. "So Tashigi-san, aren't you excited about going to Grand Line?" Naruto asked her. "Yes, I am. I want to go to Wano Kuni. It's the land of swordsmen. I want to see how they live. I'm so excited." She squealed like a little kid in a candy shop. "So you're a swordswoman?" Naruto asked curiously. "Yes, I aim to be the best, and my dream is to collect all the Mito, named swords, from people who would use them for selfish purposes. she fiercely said, determination shining within her eyes. Oh. You have my support then, not many women dream so big nowadays. I too have a friend who aims to be the best swordsman alive. I think you two would hit it off. Naruto told her. Tashigi didn't know how she felt about Naruto now. While she was grateful to him for helping her during the storm, she thought of him as a good Samaritan. But now he said he would support her. Aside from Smoker Taishu, not many people said that to her. Mostly they looked down upon her for being a swordswoman. Now maybe she could see him as a friend that she won't have time to spend with as she was going away to Grand Line, she realized. Oh, what's his name? Your swordsman friends, I mean. She asked, curious. Oh, his name is Gecko, hate Gecko. He said, successfully saving himself. Safe, thought Naruto. Here you are. The waitress who had returned with the order said to them. Thanks, all three of them thanked her. Naruto was drinking his tea when the waitress said, such a nice family you are. Most customers are rude here. Naruto spitted out the tea while Tashigi choked on it. They were drinking, blubbering, and no, we are not a Fami family. Naruto told the waitress while Tashigi nodded feverishly. Oh. She the lady as she held her hand over her mouth, not yet married and already a daughter. My. How scandalous. Ah. Young love. Naruto, who had calmed down again, started blubbering. We're not like that. We are looking for her father, she's lost. He said, hoping she would stop making the situation any worse while Tashigi once again nervously nodded. I know that silly, I know Carol. She always comes here with her father, and always orders the same. I was just teasing you young uns. She laughed beautifully. Oh. You know her father then? Tashigi perked up. Yes, her father's a pretty big shot bounty hunter, Daddy Masterson. Crap. How could I not connect the dots? She said to herself aloud. Grabbing Carol by her hand, she dragged her out. Naruto quickly paid from his pocket and went after them. He had asked for an advance from the officer in charge because frankly he was broke. Jogging to their side, Naruto asked her what happened to Shiji-chan. Why did you leave in such a hurry? Calling her Chan for the first time. I just remembered where I had her last name before. She's his daughter, the famed sniper Daddy Masterson. He was with Smoker Taishu asking for help regarding his missing daughter. I didn't think this girl would be her. Come on, let's get her to the base quickly. She told him. Okay. They reached the Marine base and there was Daddy Masterson just about to rip into a Marine for not being able to find his daughter when he heard a voice he longed for. Papa! She went running towards him. Carol! He picked her up and hugged her as she reached him. Oh, Carol! Where were you making Papa worry so much? Papa, some bad guys took me and then that Marine beat them and helped me. We were looking for you, Papa, Carl said, pointing towards Naruto. Noticing Naruto, he walked towards Naruto and grabbed his hands feverishly. And you saved my daughter. How can I ever repay you? Getting his hands out of his grasp, Naruto said to him, Please, sir, I did what any good Marine would do. No need to thank me for that. You're humble, I like that, he said as he bear-hugged Naruto. Smoker was watching this from the sidelines. He had been curious about the new recruit Tashigi had brought in. He passed the 2 tests, and the additional aptitude test with flying colors. He could have been given the ensign position if not for his lack of experience. Now he had helped his personal friend and surprise, he defeated 2 pirates with a combined bounty of 27 million belly single-handedly. And he wasn't even boasting about that fact, on the contrary, he was quite humble. Just how perfect could this boy be? He thought. Naruto was ready to sleep in now. His day had been interesting. He had potentially saved a girl's life and probably made a friend here. He was on the line separating the land of consciousness and blissful dream world when there came a sharp knock on his door. He was in the Marine's dorm room, so who would disturb him now? It was Tashigi knocking on the door. What is it, Tashigi-san? Why are you here this late at night? She was panting, seemed like she ran all the way here. It was Smoker Taishu, he said to pack your belongings. You're coming with us, she said the last part with excitement. Tashigi was excited because she had finally found a friend who she could actually spend time with. You see, ever since she was a child, she wanted to be a swordswoman, but most people laughed at her dream. Her girlfriends started avoiding her, saying if she wanted to do a boy's job then she should play with boys. It didn't help that she was quite a reserved and shy girl. She had once tried to go to the boys' group because she didn't want to play by herself. They only made fun of her for her dreams. She had lost her friends just like that. Then her father left her mother for a life of piracy. That's why she hated pirates so much. her only living relative. Her mother wanted her to grow up to be good-looking so she could get a rich husband, but Tashigi wanted nothing to do with men. She thought all men to be like her father, fickle and fake. She ran away from home and joined the Marine Corps as a chore girl. She was 15 then, almost a woman grown. The lieutenant commander of the base was a kind man. He saw her skill in kenjutsu when she was practicing with a broom. He offered to teach her some as he was an apprentice swordsman back in the days. From then on she improved by leaps and bounds. After 2 years of training, she was noticed by Smoker, who took her on as his protege. There, her view towards men changed drastically. Men didn't laugh at her dreams, though if that was because of her skills or Smoker, she didn't know, but she liked to believe it was because of her skills. Though people still laughed at her behind her back for being clumsy, they didn't dare say anything to her face because of fear of Smoker Taishu. They didn't befriend her because they feared Smoker, so she lived mostly alone here, with no one to listen to her aside from Smoker Taishu, and he wasn't too keen on everyday talks with her either. Now, she didn't know if Naruto was her friend at all. For all she knew, he had helped her because of her position in Marines and wanted to benefit from it. Maybe he was just like all the other people, laughing behind her back at her clumsiness, looking down upon her. But she couldn't help but hope that she was wrong, because when he had said that he would support her, he said it with such a sincerity that she couldn't help but believe him. "Really?" Naruto exclaimed. "Really, now pack your bags, we leave tomorrow morning at 6. She informed him. But why me? I'm just a new recruit," Naruto inquired. "Well, it turns out the men you defeated had a combined bounties of 27 million belly. Smoker Taisha thought that gave you enough experience to deal with the obstacles we might face in Grand Line. Aren't you excited?" "Well, yeah, I am truly. Thanks for telling me, Tashigi-chan." He voiced his excitement. This was the second time he called her Chan. Seemed like his old teenage persona bled through his wise exterior when he was happy. Tashigi noticed the slip. He would always refer to her as Sam politely, but now he called her Tashigi-chan. Could this be how friends referred to each other? She never knew. Anyways, she was happy at being called in a sincere, friendly manner, even though he was her subordinate. "I'll leave you to your musings now," she said with a smile. Tashigi left him, and he was forced to think about his power level. He had lost his edge after so many years of no combat. He couldn't control his power levels with ease as he could in olden days. He needed a solution because he meant to remain inconspicuous. So Naruto reached a solution. He would suppress his powers forcefully. He drew a seal that would do his work for him. He had gotten the supplies after his induction into Marines. He applied the paper on the back of his headband that he fished out of his sage coat. "I should thank Ma for sewing the extra hidden pockets," he thought. The seal was a complex array which took most of the space of the back of the headband. He wore the Hittite on his forehead and wore the Marine cap sideways so he could proudly wear his protector. He had stopped wearing the protector when he left Leaf to live as a hopeless wanderer, but now he was in another world. Here no one would mind, plus he needed something to remember his home. He couldn't sleep that day, and he only realized it was time to leave because Tashigi knocked on his door. "Grand Line, here I come." The sea was calm, there were no waves and no wind either. It was almost serene if not for the constant whirring of the engines. Naruto was decked out on a hammock trying to catch up on his sleep. It was a good thing he was the chief petty officer, because if not, then he would have been working with other Marines in the engine room instead of sleeping, or at least trying to sleep in this instance. It had been 2 days since they had left Logue Town and had entered an area of the sea called Calm Belt. According to what Tashigi had told him, Calm Belt were 2 large strips of sea that were just north and south of Grand Line. Here there was no ocean current nor any wind, so they had to rely on engines and thus the slow travel. If they had taken Reverse Mountain, they would have been in Grand Line by now. Anyways, the point was that he couldn't catch up on his sleep. He had been an extra entry to the ship, so all the rooms were taken, so he had to make do with the hammock. It sucked, but at least he was going on an adventure now. Naturally, that got his blood pumping. Seeing there was nothing to do, he decided to explore the ship in the meantime. The ship was headed towards Mariewa, the Holy Land and capital of world government. Smoker had requested to be able to board this ship as it was the only ride to Grand Line. There were others, of course, but they were scheduled to depart a month later, and Smoker couldn't just take one of the Logue Town-based ships to Grand Line. They were just not equipped to travel through the calm belts. The ship had some important members of the government on board and an important shipment from the Celestial Dragons, who Tashigi again explained to him were the descendants of people who formed the world government 800 years ago. Only the upper deck was available to Smoker and his companions. The lower deck was occupied by the nameless important members of the world government, and the lowest deck held the special shipment from the Celestial Dragons. They would head towards G3 base, where they would drop Smoker, and then the ship would once again continue on its way to Mariewa. Naruto decided to use this time as an opportunity to learn a little more about these so-called celestial dragons. Performing a henge into one of the other generic marine soldiers he's met, Naruto quickly snuck downstairs. The light lessened as deeper and deeper he traveled into the ship. Having difficulty seeing, Naruto quickly channeled some chakra into his eyes. He activated his Rinnegan, not the Sasuke's, but his, so only his right eye got the telltale purple ripple pattern. His vision sharpened through the bloodline's activation, so he quickly got moving only to hear a garish voice coming from one of the rooms. Having difficulty hearing the voice clearly, he channeled some chakra into his ear. Lucci, how is it coming along? Did you get an idea as to where the Pluton blueprints might be? The garish voice asked. No, sir. We as of now have no idea where the blueprints might be, but Khalifa has her suspicions. We'll let you know if those lead anywhere consequential. The other voice said, but since he could only see one chakra signature, the other must be talking through Denden Mushi, Naruto deduced. Keep me updated, the voice said as he put the receiver down. Naruto was about to walk away when the man spoke again. Damn it, Solomon, pick up. After almost a minute of silence, a voice spoke up on the other side of the door. Mushi Mushi, Solomon here. The voice was deep. It's Span M here. Tell me, how has your lead panned up regarding the devil child? Sir, we have heard whispers and rumors of a woman who resembles Nico Robin in Alabasta, but we have no credible source, just rumors, Solomon admitted. Nico Robin, he gave that name a passing thought, but then forgot about it as he was more interested in listening to what the men were talking about. Keep an ear out for me. Capturing her will make me famous enough to go down in the history books. You'll get a promotion if you do your job correctly, Spandam disclosed. Just then there was a noise outside the door. Pura 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 pura. Spandam opened the door that led outside his room and saw nothing. Just the usual darkened hallway. Who's there? Show yourself, he cried out. After a few moments of silence, he said to himself, must have been the wind, and went back inside. Nami had seemingly called him, and he forgot to keep his Denden Mushi in sleeping mode. Naruto let out a breath he didn't even know he was holding. While he wasn't afraid of anyone on the ship, hell, he could take everyone on the ship even in his suppressed state and still come out on top probably. He didn't want to gather everyone's attention to himself, and decking an important world government official would be doing just that. So he used Maisegekyo no Jutsu, hiding with camouflage technique, to render himself invisible. It made the user invisible from others by hiding their self and scent by bending the light around them. Though it was really idiotic of that Spandam to think it was wind, but it worked in his favor nevertheless. His stomach made a growling noise and he decided to leave before Spandam could come back again. In hindsight, he didn't really even need to hide because they wouldn't have known who he was anyway. But hindsight was always 20/20th. The conversation he overheard and the call he got from Nami sidetracked his plan to find out about those celestial dragons. Getting back on the upper deck, he realized how stuffy the lower deck was. It was lunchtime and the lunch was buffet style. It seemed the officials were pretty important for them to get such treatment. He was walking around with his plate looking for a place to seat when he spotted Tashigi. Another man was talking with her, and he could see that she was uncomfortable talking with him. Walking over to her, he tapped her on the shoulder and she turned around, seemingly relieved at seeing him. Naruto. Turning to the man, she said, "Excuse me, my friend needs help." Grabbing his wrists, "Come here," she said, dragging him towards an empty table. Naruto looked back and noticed the guy shooting him an icy glare. Naruto shot one back too, just for the heck of it. "What happened? Who's that guy?" Naruto asked curiously as he sat down on the table. "He's some guy pestering me for a date ever since he saw me on the ship. He's a member of CP5, they are an entitled lot. I don't know what to do, I can't just say no to him, they are practically running the ship. What if they decide to drop us?" "Relax, Tashigi-chan, they are government agents and we area marines, aren't we supposed to be allies? I'm sure he won't be so heartbroken as to drop his allies into the ocean, plus do you think Smoker Taishu would allow that? Just tell him you are not interested and it'll be fine," Naruto reassured her. "Og, wish me luck." She went over there and seemingly talked with him. They talked for a minute. Naruto was eating his pasta when Tashigi came back with a smile on her face. "So how'd it go?" Naruto inquired. "Well, really well, he was really understanding and said it was fine. I don't know what I was worried about anyways," she gushed out. "See, you just needed to be more assertive," Naruto told her, finishing his lunch. "Any idea when we will reach the base?" Naruto asked her, getting up to dump the plates. Tashigi followed him. "Yes, I asked around and turns out that we'll be there by evening." "So what are you going to do until then?" Naruto asked. I think I'll polish my sword and take a quick nap. We'll have much work to do when we reach there, Tashigi said to him as she left. Now what am I gonna do? He asked himself aloud. Thinking nothing better to do, he went back to his hammock. They had entered Grand Line now, so the engines were set to minimum power, and they were sailing on the winds. Naruto was lulled to sleep by the sound of waves crashing against the ship. It was 3 in the afternoon. The upper deck of the ship was deserted except for Naruto, who was sleeping away his worries. Suddenly his eyes shot open and he jumped off from the hammock and on the ground in a crouch like an agile spider-human hybrid. He looked around and he was surrounded by at least 6 CP5 members, all of them brandishing a pistol. Well, aren't you one jumpy motherfucker? The man who was talking with Tashigi earlier that day said out loud. They were all wearing white shirts, white pants, white coats and black ties with black hats to go along with. What's the meaning of this? Naruto asked, sounding not so wary of strangers. You talked that chick from not going out with me. She was so close to saying yes and then you came. The same man all but screamed at Naruto. Well, not my fault that she didn't want to go out with a guy like you. I just told her to say no if she really meant it. Naruto debated. Oh, the man said, placing his hand under his chin. This was a misunderstanding then? Yes, now I'm going to go look over the deck if you don't mind. Okay, the man said casually. Naruto walked out of there and went over the deck and no one bothered him. What kind of weird people will I meet in Grand Line? He thought. As he was looking over the deck, the man in white clothes tried to push him forcefully from behind. Naruto was waiting for something like this to happen, so he sidestepped, and the momentum of the man carried him over the deck and into the sea. And just like that, the fight he knew was going to happen ensued. 2 men tried to attack him with their guns, but Naruto just dodged the bullets, and then with a burst of speed appeared behind them. With their guns in his hands, he dropped the guns and he fell down, crushed. Emitting a strong dose of killing intent, the men on the deck were reduced to a blubbering mess. I didn't do anything to you people and yet you attacked me. According to Marine Code 12, Section 27, anyone who attacks a government agent, and yes, that includes Marines on an assignment with no reason, is liable to be put under arrest and, depending on the kind of strike, is to be executed. Now I'm no lawyer, but you guys clearly violated the rule, however imperial it may be. It works in my favor. So, do I have to tell the higher-ups what happened here, or are you going to try and save your leader who was just dropped into sea? Hurry up and think, for time is of the essence. Naruto preached. They didn't move for a few seconds and Naruto thought them stubborn, but then realized that he had yet to tone down the killing intent. Just as he did that, they were off like rockets moving towards the lifeboats, intending on dropping it for their leader, if he hadn't been yet eaten by a sea king, that is. Naruto had went through the World Government Agent's Rule Handbook that had been given to him when he was inducted into Marines. He went through because he was bored and he liked to read new things. Who knew that reading it would help him solve this situation without much conflict? Smoker, who had been feeling stuffed in his room, so he went outside. He was met with the sight of many CP5 members down on the ground, seemingly suffocating, and his new recruit standing over them. He could somewhat feel it too, the oppressive feeling. He had only heard rumors of this ability. It was called Haoshoku no Haki, Conqueror's Haki. Only few in billions could use this ability, and his new recruit possessed this ability. Sure, it was unrefined, but he possessed it? He watched as the boy released his haki and the men scrambled off to lifeboats. The new recruit went back to his hammock and slept as if nothing had happened. He waited for a few moments to see if something would happen, but he was disappointed. Smoker then went towards Tashigi's room to make sure she was ready. They were almost on the base. Naruto and the team had been dropped on the G3 base and were on their way to meet the base commander. The base commander was a man by the name of Grey Surge. He was of average height, had spiky black hair like Naruto's, and dark blue eyes. He wore quite a lot of clothes, making his frame larger than it really was. He seemed like a laid-back person but could be serious when time called for it. Instead of normal weapons like sword or guns, he fought with a spear that had a curved blade and a pointed end. He was a formidable opponent if you had the bad luck of having him as your enemy. Sir, I'm Captain Smoker from Logue Town. And these are my direct subordinates Tashigi and Naruto. I requested a transfer to Grand Line and was stationed here. Smoker told the Vice Admiral. Ah. Welcome to my humble base. I would like permission to go after a pirate from East Blue who entered Grand Line a few days ago. His name is Monkey D. Luffy. I never heard about him, Grace said anticlimactically. He's my responsibility, sir. He escaped through my hands, Smoker said solemnly. Oh, sure, you can go after him and other pirates in Grand Line. I give you full authority. Vice Admiral Gray Surge told Smoker nonchalantly. Well, that was easy, thought Naruto and Smoker. So we'll need a ship, sir, and submarines to command. Smoker continued. Sure, take as many as you like, but no more than 108. He consented. Why 108? Naruto blurted out suddenly. Ah. A curious one you've got there, Smoker-san. Well, 108 is my lucky number. The Vice Admiral said plainly. Oh, was all Naruto could say. That was a weird reason, thought Naruto. So you can leave tomorrow, for now rest. Gray said, leaving no room to argue. Naruto and Tashigi were talking with each other while drinking their evening tea in Naruto's room. So did you not think that it was weird how easily Vice Admiral let us do what we wanted to? Naruto asked her opinion on the matter. Well, I'm not too surprised. According to what I know, G3 base is the lowest popular base on this side of Grand Line. They have the lowest rate of captured pirates on them and are lazy. I think that Great Shujo is allowing us to go after pirates because none of his old marines are going to do that. If you see it his way, it benefits him the most. If Smoker Taishu captures pirates, then the base gets a good name, and if he doesn't, then it doesn't change the way things go around here. Personally, I think it's good that he's letting us go after the Mugiwara pirates. I want to capture Zoro and get his Mido. He doesn't deserve a sword as legendary as Wado Ikemanji, Tashigi said, with fierce determination shining within her eyes when she ate the last part. What's your problem with that guy? I mean, why you think he doesn't deserve the sword? For all we know, it might have been given to him by his master willingly and might have personal importance to him. I mean, not to sound harsh, but what gives you the right to do that? Naruto asked, wanting to know how strong her will for this dream was. I think if Midos could speak, then they would say that they wouldn't want to be used by the likes of pirates and bounty hunters. Using them for those purposes is just selfish, Tashigi claimed. Well, not to burst your bubble, but tell me one thing, how do you know if that's what they want? Back where I come from, there was a legendary sword by the name of Samahata. It was one of the 7 such legendary swords in my land. The special part about Samahata was that it was sentient. It could think, and you know what? Its master was a powerful soldier in my land, powerful but an evil man. It was with him for years, giving him power and relying on him, but you know what? It betrayed him for a more powerful owner. So the point of the story is just like us, swords are not black and white creatures. If they could talk, then they were sentient, and if they were sentient, then they could damn well make their own choices. So get off your high horse and see the world for what it really is. Not all Marines are good guys and not all pirates bad. Not everything is black and white as you make it out to be. Naruto paused for a breath and then again spoke. So don't just blindly believe what others tell you, see the world for yourself and decide whether or not if someone is what others make them out to be. If you think that Zoro guy is so bad, then ask yourself this. What has he done that makes him a bad guy? Just joined a pirate crew that actually liberated a village while the Marines were just sitting on their hands. Ask yourself if the single fact that they call themselves pirate gives you any right to take away his swords. When they do something bad, you can judge them, but till then hold back your judgment, and see if they are what everyone makes them out to be. Naruto paused, waiting to see if she would retort, when no reply came and he continued. I'm not telling all this to make you feel bad. You're my friend, so I think it's my duty to show you the way to tell right from wrong and good from bad. Don't just listen to world, find your own way. You think you are on the side of justice, but this thing called justice, it changes shape depending where you stand, and what you are preaching is just a corrupted version of what you should actually follow. Branding someone bad just because they don't fit into society's norms is not justice, it's unfairness. So now when you go to sleep tonight, think about what you have heard and think if you want to be a puppet to the musings of the world or be your own person. Naruto finished. Tashigi was silent. She couldn't speak in the lieu of the words that had been spoken just now. She didn't think that her new friend would have such sagely advice for a man younger than her. She had a lot to think about. Maybe this is what Smoker Taisha meant when he kept telling her to follow her own sense of justice. Naruto, after Tashigi had left, reviewed his day. He had realized that most people in world government weren't above using their power to strong-arm people they thought weaker. Today was one such an example with the CP5 members. He wished that he would have been granted more time to explore the ship, but alas, time was not with him. Thank Kami for Kage Bunshins though. He had left one Kage Bunshins on the ship to find out if they were hiding something from them on the lower levels. He would get their memories sooner or later. He decided to catch up on his sleep since he had been rudely awakened by those men on the ship before. Closing his eyes, he found himself easily drifting into the land of dreams. It was night time and the moon was shining brightly in the sky. He found himself on a familiar ship. The deck seemed deserted. Seemed like everyone had turned in for the night except for the man in the crow's nest. Now was his time. Making no noise, he walked towards the stairs leading to lower decks. Only the moonlight cascading through the portholes illuminated the area. He walked forward unhindered. He walked past the leather-masked man's room and came upon a door that led to the lowest deck. He tried to pry open the door, but it was locked. Fishing out his trusty lock-picking set, he set to work. Within a minute, the door was opened and he walked in, closing the door and locking it behind him. There were no portholes here, and that meant no light either. His ocular ability worked in conjunction with light, so no light meant no dark vision. He summoned fire on the tips of his fingers and started moving. The flickering flames made eerie shadows across the walls, and some of the demons formed by shadows seemed to follow him. He reached the lowest deck and there was a large metal door there, with gears and knobs on it. It looked like a door to a really secure safe. He tried opening the safe with his skills, but that led nowhere. He tried various other things, but none of them worked. Now it was time to use his last skill. He hadn't used it ever much, so he wasn't sure if this would work. He set his hands against the metal door and set to working, moving his hands along the inner gears. It was a whisper at first, then a tinkling, and then creaks, and slowly but surely he could feel the gears moving within the metal door. After a long moment, there was a clicking sound and the door was finally unlocked, and with a loud creaking sound it opened. And it was empty. He looked around and found cages and pretties there. Seemed like they were holding something, someone. After some looking around, he reached the conclusion that it was people they were holding, and in subhuman condition no less. And they were coming from deep within East Blue. On one of the cages he had found words inscribed that said Tequila Wolf. Was that someone's name, or a place maybe? He sensed many people converging on his position. Seemed like the alarm had went off. He exited the room to find Black Zetsus. Before Naruto could get over his shock, the Zetsus shot projectiles from their hands, and he died a screamless death. Naruto woke with a start, his mind trying to make sense what was dream and what were memories. He knew that the Zetsu was not real, just a part of his nightmare mixed with his clone's memories. Most likely it was some CP5 member who shot his clone. Wanting to feel fresh air against his face, he left his room. Still trying to get over the fact that the Navy was transporting people like animals in a cage for someone called Tequila Wolf. He exited his train of thought, and found himself outside by a balcony. He thought now was as good as any time to check up on his pirate pals. Fishing out his new Denden Mushi, he placed a call to Nami. After a while, a sweet voice came from the other side. Mushy Mushy, who's this? Hey Nami-chan, how are you guys? He asked her. Who's it, Nami? Luffy's voice asked. No one, go back to fishing, Luffy. Nami gushed. Hey Luffy! How are you? Naruto again inquired. Naruto, hey guys, it's Naruto, come here. Luffy shouted that Naruto had to pull the Denden Mushi away from his ears. It sounded like others gathered around the poor snail on the other side. Hey Naruto, here to listen to my brave tales? Usopp asked in his telltale tone of boasting. Zoro and Sanji were absent, probably sleeping and cooking respectively. Who's Naruto, Nami-san? An unfamiliar voice asked on the other side. He's our friend from before we entered Grand Line, Nami said with barely hidden affection. He's our nakama, added Luffy. He's my follower, boasted Usopp. He's listening too, you know, Usopp offered Naruto. He could almost imagine Usopp's look. Wondering who the unknown person was, Naruto decided to voice his question. Who's the new girl? Naruto, she's Vivi, Princess of Alabasta. How cool is that? Asked Usopp. Eep. Usopp-san, don't tell everyone who I am, it's supposed to be a secret. Vivi exclaimed. Don't worry, Vivi, we trust him, Nami assured her. Hello Hanchan, so why did a princess become a pirate, care to share? Naruto inquired. She's not actually a pirate, an evil mystery organization is trying to overthrow her kingdom, and we're helping her, Luffy told him. Oh. What's the organization's name? Maybe I can help, I'm a marine now by the way. Naruto told them as if it was a no big deal. Baroque works and they have a number system for their members, and what, you're a marine now? Naruto again held the Denden Mushi away from his ears. Calm down Nami-chan, it's mostly an undercover mission, so don't chew off my ear. That's good, I hate marines ever since that Nezumi bastard, she said solemnly. I'll tell you the same thing I told Tashigi-chan, world is not black and white, learn to see past your differences. Naruto gave his sagely advice. There was no sound from the other side. The Nami spoke. I'll try my best to follow your advice, but who's this Tashigi-chan you're talking about? You better not forget about us. Nami asked with an edge in her voice. Great. Naruto thought. Now Nami didn't like Tashigi for some reason. She's my friend in the Marines, she's pretty nice and informative too. She's like a Marine and less greedy version of you, Nami-chan. Naruto said, unknowingly applying salt on the wounds. Well, if she's such a nice friend than me, then why don't you just stay with her? And with that she slammed down the receiver. Now what was wrong with Nami now? Must be on one of her days, Naruto thought. He was going to call her again, but slid the denden mushi in his pocket. Just as he did it, Tashigi walked out from behind him with a towel across her shoulders. Sweat was clinging to her lithe body, seemed like she just came out of her kendo practice. She was surprised to see Naruto up so early because she had pegged him as a lazy guy because of how much he slept yesterday. Who are you talking with, Naruto? She asked innocently. Oh. No one, just talking to myself, Naruto lied through his teeth. You sure? I'm sure I heard a girl's voice, she asked skeptically. Yes. I tend to talk like that when talking to myself out loud. See, Tashigi-chan, how are you? He said, imitating Nami's voice perfectly. Tashigi sounded convinced for now. He would need to come up with better lies if he wanted to maintain his cover, provided he stayed as a Marine for long. Anyways, let's get ready. We have to leave early today, don't we? Naruto said, trying to change the subject. Yes, I also get to pick a katana from the armory, she said with excitement. Great! Naruto exclaimed. Let's get ready now before Smoker Taishi gets grumpy, Naruto joked. Tashigi giggled. What a splendid Hitatsura! One of the Ryowaza Mano, Kashura. I'm so lucky, Naruto, that I got to meet with such a Mido so soon. Tashigi gushed over her new sword. They were in Tashigi's room. She had invited Naruto to look at her new sword. Naruto's sweat dropped at seeing this, getting vivid reminders of a certain weapon fetish, kunoichi. But who's worse, Naruto thought, seeing Tashigi continuing to drool all over her newly acquired weapon, carefully caressing its sharp edge. Definitely her. Thank God she doesn't have Anko's bloodlust, otherwise I think I might just kill myself. Naruto shivers. Tashigi! Tashigi! Get down here! Smoker called out, snapping Naruto out of his nightmare. Naruto and Tashigi suddenly tensed and followed after the voice. In her hurry, Tashigi stumbled upon the lower steps on the staircase and was about to fall when Naruto caught the hem of her shirt. Her sword went flying through the air and stabbed itself on the deck. Be careful, Tashigi-chan, that would have been a nasty fall, Naruto chided her. Thank you, Naruto. Both of you come down here. Smoker shouted at them. What is it, Smoker Taishu? Naruto asked, looking over the other Marine who was standing with a black denden mushi on his wrist. That's a black wiretap denden mushi. Listen carefully, we intercepted the conversation between two men. With your permission, I'll replay the interception. Yes, please. Go ahead, Tashigi told the Marine. There was a lot of static noise, but Naruto could make out Sanji's voice and something about Mr. Zero, Princess Vivi, Straw Hat Pirates, and orders. Even through the interference, we were able to match 4 keywords: Straw Hats, orders, Mr. Zero, and Princess Vivi. I think it's safe to say that Straw Hats are involved in this, Smoker said. Perhaps Mr. Zero is related to the Mr. 11 we caught this morning? Naruto asked. Maybe you stay here with Tashigi, I'll interrogate him, Smoker told Naruto. Mr. 11 had unwittingly and unknowingly confirmed their suspicions about the nameless organization that Mr. Zero was a part of. Naruto connected the dots and figured out that the organization was Baroque Works. The only reliable clue they had was the missing Princess Vivi and Nijiwara pirates, so Smoker requested an eternal pose to Alabasta from the base. Smoker, Tashigi, and the crew were called to the base, but they had to guard the prisoners, so Naruto opted to stay. Naruto was sitting on Smoker's armchair when he sensed someone unfamiliar boarding the ship. He feigned sleep to see what they were going to do, though he could sense malice from them. You're millions right, I'm your superior, untie me, Mr. 11 told the boarding party. We're not your underlings, Mr. 11, we're billions and the difference between our powers isn't that big, the boarder boasted. Who are you? Mr. 11 asked, a bit afraid. I'm Mr. Mello and the one who's going to kill you, Mr. Mello claimed. One of his henchmen, noticing Naruto, asked his boss, Mr. Mello, there's a Marine sleeping here, what should we do? Kill him first, then kill Mr. 11 here. They riddled Naruto's body with bullets, but as soon as the look of triumph glowed on their face, the body burst into smoke and in its place was a bullet-riddled log. They looked around and found Mr. 11 wasn't in his place either. As Mr. Mello looked from left to right, he found that with every glance his minions were disappearing and soon he was the only one standing. He looked to his right and a sleeping Marine was in his face. "Say goodnight," the Marine said, and soon he was painfully unconscious, courtesy of Naruto's uppercut. Tying everybody up, Naruto went back to where he hid Mr. 11, who was shaking in his pants. "Now, when Smoker Taishu comes, you're gonna tell us everything you and your organization did in Alabasta or Capsi?" Naruto threatened indirectly as he cracked his knuckles. Mr. 11 was running, groping around in the dark. He wanted something, anything within his reach to use as weapon, but he wasn't even sure if weapons would affect that thing. Reawawer! The sound causes him to jump, terrified of the nine-tailed beast chasing him. Distracted by the beast, Mr. 11 tripped, crashing to the ground. Looking back in terror, forgetting to get back up, he attempted to crawl away on his hands and knees but stood no chance. He groaned in agony as one of the fox's massive tails squeezed the life out of him. The eyes, my God, the red ember-like glowing eyes were looking at him, piercing through his soul. He didn't even have to look at his teeth to know the fox could bite him in half. Clearly he wasn't its first meal today. Red blood was dripping down its glistening canines. "Choose," the fox bellowed, "your life and tell me everything, or stay silent and suffer in hell." Mr. 11 was scared. He would never willingly give out information about his organization to anyone, and it was because he believed in the dream of an ideal nation, a nation where he would have a powerful position. But with another squeeze of its tail, the greed in Mr. 11's mind was overcome by fear, and because of the fear and need to survive, he chose to live. "I chose life." Mr. 11 whimpered. The fox seemed to nod his head, and just like that, the darkness vanished to give way for sunlight. The sky was blue and birds were chirping. He could see the sea around him. He felt free if not for the ropes around his midsection. He was never so happy to see the sun again. The fox seemed to melt into a humanoid shape, and in his place was the Marine that had saved him from Mr. Mello, smiling a bright sunlit smile, almost as if he was his friend and not the captor. Just what kind of monster have the Marines been hiding? Mr. 11 though in terror. After saving Mr. 11 from the other members of the organization, Naruto had told him to confess everything he knew about Baroque works, but Mr. 11 was a stubborn man. He wouldn't budge, so Naruto needed to coerce it out of him. Placing his hand on Mr. 11's shoulder as one would do with a friend, Naruto subtly let his chakra flow into his capti's chakra system, slowly melding his chakra with his chakra system and taking over his sensory nerves, making him basically see, hear and feel what he wanted him to. This was a kind of a genjutsu but required physical contact for it to work. Slowly reality would melt away in his capti's mind and he would see a hellish view of Kurama chasing him. It was really easy to convince him after that to spill the beans. Now Naruto was waiting for Smoker and his crew to come back. This would be big news for them. Hell, this might even motivate Great Shujo to send his forces to Alabasta to help the king. It would be 6 hours until they came back. Turned out a pirate named Ace had broken into G2 base and stole some important documents and set a fire. They had been called to G3 base to review their security, which is why it was so sudden. Smoker was visibly happy with more information on the organization that had Mr. Zero. "Good work, new recruit. You'll go through Marine ranks fast if you continue this streak." Smoker praised Naruto. "Thanks, Smoker Taishu," Naruto replied. Now Naruto had many questions he had regarding Tequila Wolf. He decided to voice one now. "Sir, I have one question that's been on my mind recently. With your permission, I would like to ask." Naruto politely inquired. "Speak freely with me, Uzumaki. I'm not one of those stuck-up captains that won't let the Marines speak their minds," Smoker said to him as he leaned back on his armchair. "Thanks, sir. Do you know who is Tequila Wolf? I feel like I read that name somewhere connected to Marines." I don't like speaking about that place. The fact that it exists in East Blue is a slap to my dignity. I'm sorry, but it's confidential. You'll have to be at least captain level to even know about that place. But I'll give you this, it's island and not a person." Smoker gave him a look. "The fact that you know about it make me liable to report you to higher-ups. But I won't do that since you're clearly more valuable to Marines outside than rotting away in some prison, so don't go snooping around in places where you don't belong." Smoker ended his statement. "Thanks for pointing that out, sir. I'll keep that in mind." "Like hell I will. This just makes me more suspicious," Naruto thought to himself. "You there. Set the course for the base and ask Great Shujo to be ready to receive some prisoners," Smoker told a random Marine. "So you're telling me that they are going to take over the country to build their own ideal nation?" Gray asked them, looking at Naruto with furrowed brows. "Yes, Shujo, as he said, Baroque works has been the reason Alabasta is embroiled in a civil war," Naruto declared. And how did you get this information out of him? Gray asked Naruto with a calculating gaze. Because these men are not pirates, and you had only circumstantial evidence to doubt him, you better have not forced this out of him. Sir, if you're worried about me coercing it out of him, you need not worry. I didn't touch a hair on his bodice. He probably confessed because he realized that outside our custody, his life was in danger, as men from his organization were out to kill him. He did it to save his own skin, I'm sure, Naruto said with utmost respect. Truth be told, Naruto didn't like playing the part of perfect marine. He would rather be his old self, but in his travels he had found out that when you cajoled someone, they were inclined to trust you more. That was the reason for this farce. If the information that this character gave out is correct, our base just might get the respect we deserve. I believe that you are in line for a promotion. I'll make sure of that myself. Good work, Naruto. Gray praised Naruto. Well, the meeting's concluded. You may leave. Smoker-san, I would like to have a word with you. Please remain. Naruto and Tashigi left the room, leaving Smoker behind. As they were walking, Naruto felt his stomach growl, so he asked Tashigi, "Want to grab a bite?" Tashigi, who was giggling to herself at hearing his stomach growl, said, "Sure, I'm hungry as well, though not as hungry as you are." She laughed. They walked into the mess hall. The room was empty, and no surprise there as it was way past lunchtime. It was evening, and dinner wouldn't be served till few hours. You grab a place to sit while I'll ask the head chef if there are any leftovers we could eat, Tashigi told him as she went towards the kitchen area. The mess hall was a large area with benches and tables lined along. Naruto found a table that would have seated about 5 people by the window. Breeze was flowing there, and the view was nice. A moment later, Tashigi came by rolling a tray table with food on it. "You're getting pretty famous around here, did you know that?" Tashigi asked him. "Why, what? How am I getting famous? We just arrived here 2 days ago," Naruto began. "Well, apparently news travels fast around here. The cooks are saying that you took down about 50 men single-handedly when we were gone and brought them back as prisoners," Tashigi replied as she shifted the food from the tray onto their plates. After a quick thanks, Naruto began again. "What nonsense! There were only 20 men," Naruto exclaimed. "Yeah, because beating 20 men by oneself is so easy," Tashigi told him sarcastically. "Well, they were weak, that made it easy," Naruto said, trying to underplay his abilities. "Still, 20 men is no small feat, Naruto. You should be proud of yourself as a marine. Plus that man we captured told you everything about this Baroque works. We might be able to help a kingdom from falling into disarray," Tashigi debated. "Yeah, we'll be able to help Alabasta. I wonder what kind of kingdom it is." Naruto paused to think. "Hey, do you think Straw Hats are trying to help Princess Vivi?" he said, planting the seed of thought in her mind. "What? No. That's not possible. I mean, they are pirates." She saw Naruto giving her a look that said, "Think before you speak." "Think about it. They liberated a village under pirate rule because a villager asked them, why you think that it's impossible for them to be helping Princess Vivi. I mean, the wiretap we heard said orders, Princess Vivi, Straw Hats and Mr. Zero. Now if we think about it, Princess Vivi might have ventured outside of her kingdom to ask for help, or maybe infiltrate the organization that Mr. Zero is part of, and maybe she met Straw Hats along the way and asked them for help. I know this sounds really far-fetched to be probable, but just give it a thought. Keep your mind open to all possibilities," Naruto lectured her. "You know, I gave it a thought to what you said that day, about world not being black and white, and it led to me to the conclusion that the world is of varying shades. It might be possible that they are helping Viviheim, but that won't make me think twice before I capture the Straw Hats if confronted in Alabasta. Even if I think they are not in the wrong, they still chose a life of piracy knowing what it ensued. Even if they don't do bad things, even if they are good guys, they are still working under the flag of piracy." She paused and looked Naruto right in the eye and began. "As a person myself, I might believe that they are good people, but as a marine, it's my duty to capture them. I chose this life knowing what it meant. Now just because my thoughts might have changed towards others doesn't allow me to break the oath I took. It doesn't permit me to shirk on my marine duties. I will, until I die or until I find a strong enough reason to abandon my marine post, will I not stop giving a chase to pirates. If it all boils down to duty or my feelings, I will choose duty all the times." She finished her statement. She could see the look of defiance towards her words in Naruto's eyes. He was about to speak, but she again started. "I know that this system might be broken, might be wrong, but I can't just sit there and wallow in pity if I see injustice happening. If I want to change the system, I can't just say the system is wrong and hope it repairs itself. If I have to, I'll work my way up until I'm in the position to right the wrongs. Even if it takes me ages, I'll do it." "Naruto, I'm not saying that you're wrong in what you said that day. What is said was absolutely right, but as the way things are now, as the way I am now, I can't do anything about that stuff. I can't just stop capturing pirates because I feel it's wrong, because if I don't, someone else will. At least with me, they get a chance. I chose this duty even if it was out of contempt towards my father. I chose this. Now the only way I can make the people see my way is if I work towards it. So I'm sorry that I can't follow your ideals, but worry not, for deep down within my psyche I found my own self, the one that wishes to right this broken sense of justice the world is preaching. The Naruto was dumbstruck. He didn't think she would have thought about this so much. But he was happy because even if a little he had managed to change her views and motivate her to do the right thing, though he didn't think of that she would have this strong sense of duty. Wow, Tashigi-chan, that's the spirit. Keep working and one day you just might change the Navy. I'll support you. Naruto backed her. Then thank you, Naruto. I'm just happy that you're not mad because I didn't follow what you said. Tashigi was taken aback by his supportive tone. What? Why would be mad? My intention was to let you choose your own path, and you did that splendidly. Naruto reassured her. Noticing his lunch getting cold, Naruto gobbled it up quickly. Tashigi, who saw this happening, was weirdly fascinated by this. Citing that he needed to get rest, Naruto left, leaving Tashigi alone with her thoughts. Naruto was in his room contemplating whether or not to call his very first friends in this world. He decided he would place a call. Taking out his denden mushi, he tuned into their frequency and placed the call. After a few snail calls, the receiver on the other side was picked up. It's Naruto here. He plainly told the receiver if the call. Hey Naruto, how are you? Usopp said through chattering teeth. I'm fine, Usopp. Naruto replied. Well, I wanted you to pass some information to Viviheim. Tell her that my captain's team caught one man who called himself Mr. 11. We got information out of him regarding their hand in the upcoming civil war, and because of that, tell her that her father has the support of the Marines. So when you guys reach Alabasta, be ready for shit ton of Marine presence there. I know that I might have made things for you guys harder, but at least the kingdom has more protection now. Naruto finished giving out the information. She heard it all. She's here, Usopp told him. Thank you, Naruto-san. I'm sure my father would appreciate it. I know I do. By the way, where is Nami-chan? Is she still angry at me? Naruto asked curiously. Naruto, she's sick. We're now headed to see her. We just found a doctor who could treat her. What? How is she? Is she fine? Naruto with voice dripping with concern. I don't know, Vivi said she could die. Usopp said. You are an idiot, Usopp-san. Naruto-san, she is probably fine. This is the best island in all of Grand Line to receive medical aid. Don't worry over this, she's in the doctor's care now, so she'll be fine. Vivi said, placating him. Oh, okay, keep me informed about the happenings over there. I'll call you guys after some time. It was evening now. He would call them after dinner, but he knew his heart won't be on eating. Smoker had summoned Naruto into his cabin for whatever reasons. Tashigi was present there too, pacing the room. You called Smoker, Taishu? Yes, Naruto, have a seat. Tashigi, you too. Smoker instructed. She complied. So after you two left, Grey Chujo instructed me to command the base's forces and head over to Alabasta. While there, you two will be working directly under me and you both will have platoons under your command. You two need to be at your best there. We'll catch the Straw Hats and capture the leader of the organization called Baroque Works. Smoker declared his intentions. Yes, sir, Tashigi called out with utmost respect. While Naruto was unsure whether he wanted to capture his friends, he knew at that instant that he wouldn't be capturing them if it came to that. He would rather help them, he thought. You've got any doubts, new recruit? Smoker asked, seeing Naruto's expression. No, sir. He decided to not voice his opinions, not now. He had other things on his mind than arguing with his captain. We'll leave for Alabasta tonight after you've had your dinner, so be ready. Smoker announced. Naruto didn't eat that day. He was still worrying over his friend's condition. He decided he would check up on them once the ship had set sail. He decided to meditate till then. He needed some inner peace. He entered his mindscape. He opened his eyes and saw the meadows of grass and forests of trees. His mindscape had its own ecosystem,